On. I'm so sorry I forgot to turn the mic on. Great start. I turned the stream on to ultra low latency. So hopefully that will make it so there's not such a gigantic delay between when I'm like going off about something and seeing chat. I'm always like and I'm such a perfectionist too. I'm like, "Oh, all these people have been talking, I better scroll up and catch up on chat." So, oh yeah, I was gonna take another. I did this the beginning of my Silent Hill 2 stream too. I was like, oh yeah, I need to take my drugs. It's actually 5:30 p.m. is pretty late for me to do anything that requires me to be alert and use my brain. Uh, but I want to be able to do it. So, what do I want to talk about today? Am I out of focus? Eh? My autofocus on this camera is so bad. Er. Uh. Ah! It's like I see the little sensor in my viewfinder that's like tracking my face, and yet. And Fade June 3008 is here. Of course, because it would be there's a clique of like 5 of you that I feel like I'll always end up showing up and always end up active in chat, and I'm so very grateful to you all. So, let's kick this off. This week's video did not perform well at all, but I had so much fun making it. I'm like, there's a lot of different reasons for it. It is kind of a left turn from what I normally do, from what people know from me. It's not the analytical thing that I do on the TV show. But it was so fun and so stupid. Like, there are definitely some jokes I'm like, I could have delivered that better, but it was kind of an experiment, because I hadn't done anything like that before, and now I have all these ideas of what I want to do differently with videos like that. So we are tapping into. It's not that the TV show videos aren't creative; they're very creative. I love doing the theme analysis and social analysis and all that stuff. That's important to me. But there is a artistic kind of creativity to me, and I'm just super inspired by video game locations. That's why on the Dinztopia channel, I have the Gamespaces videos, because I just love doing cinematography. The origin of this channel was the Lindsay's Fallout 4 Films project, where I wanted to do all these cinematic shots in the game of, I called it Fallout 4 Quests Films. I was going to do, like, short films of individual quests. And, that was such a long game. I didn't know myself as well. I didn't know what, I could really take on and what was realistic. I just knew that the idea really excited me. And if I ever do, and I will, more location videos, I really want to not just run around the locations, recording the footage. I want to get in photo mode. Like how in this week's video, I stopped and did the cinematic shot when I found that perfect shot of the body out the car window overlooking the church in Burning Springs. I want a lot more of that. And also I was thinking it could be the moment for me to get Dinztopia, that channel, because on the Dinztopia channel, I have this series called Gamespaces, where I explore video game locations. I did the Mojave, Fallout New Vegas Mojave, and then I did a bunch of Cyberpunk 2077. I haven't done any Fallout 76 on that channel. And I could basically 2-for-1. Record the footage basically in full resolution on my big monitor, and use the full. It's not really 4K. It's like 3.5K resolution to do the Gamespaces video, and then use that same footage to do the Lindsay's Fallout channel video where I would do the talky and the jokey and that kind of thing. But I think if we were gonna do that, then instead of having like, look at these 5 locations, it would be more like, let's talk about one location and do like the whole video talking about that location. Or maybe not. I mean, it depends on really how in the... See, this is the kind of decisions I have to make. Okay, catching up on chat. Oh, Midnight Whimsies is here. Hello. I appreciate that you're going into 76. I think it's highly underrated. You are welcome? I guess that wasn't really thank you, but you're welcome feels like the thing to say. I hope you heal soon, but also enjoy the medicated ride. Yeah, I hope at least it's fun drugs. I enjoyed your lovely locations of Fallout 76 video. Thank you. Behind, few minutes, catching up. You don't have to watch the whole stream. Just came from Wendigoon channel as he's reading and reviewing the book The Road. Is that like a new book? I liked your 76 video. I've been wondering how it is now. Also, I have a million screenshots of Fallout 4 on my PS4, yeah. I gotta make dinner, back soonish. Have a good dinner making sesh. I enjoyed the 76 ideology video, stupid autocorrect. Oh, you wanted to say video and it said ideology? Haha. It's a thank you more or less. It counts. Like there's like little shades of sort of my greater locations, ambitions in the video. Like when I talked about Far Harbor and I went into my footage, I found I had started recording a Gamespaces video for Far Harbor and then I didn't finish it. And so that's why I had that sort of cool wide footage that wasn't just gameplay footage when I talked about Far Harbor. That's a funny thing is, you know, for all the you might not expect this, but every time I mention in-game anything about Fallout or any other game, and I show footage, it's always footage that I recorded myself. Always, 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 always. And on that note, there's a bit of a hard drive space issue. I gotta talk about Cyberpunk at some point, because I have so much Cyberpunk footage. Literally, as we speak, I basically went and found every game recording. I looked at the megapixels. I'm like, if it's like 40 megapixels, then it needs to be replaced by a smaller version. Because I'm not, like, about to run out of space, but it is, like, time that I need to have better habits, better, media management, hygiene, or the footage recording. So basically, it's like, I need to make sure it's really clearly labeled, and it's something that I'm going to reference more than once if I'm going to keep it on this hard drive space, because I'm always going to want to record new shit. So but then sometimes, you know, I'm in a moment where I'm like, I just needed a clip of a feral ghoul or something, and I'm like, I'm not gonna open up the game and record new footage. So, so now actually I have OBS open when I'm just playing the game recreationally, and then if I come across something where I'm like, ooh, this seems like something that I will reference or mention. Just last night I was playing 76, and I came across a moment of a good shot of pre-war money. And I really wish that I'd had that. In one of the Fallout TV show videos, I say something like, you know, all of our savings accounts are going to be pre-war money someday. And I wanted a shot of pre-war money in games so bad for that. But either I didn't have it or I didn't have it labeled. So, recording and saving the footage and labeling the file names so I can search for things easily. Like, every time I make a video and I say something about Mr. House, you know, I want to be able to open up my video recordings and search House and find all the footage of anything House related. Granted, with House, it's always just like the one shot of the guy on the screen, but sometimes that actually makes it more of an issue, because I'm like, you know, you could dolly in from this. I mean, all the different angles of Lindsay House kind of show all the different ways you can shoot that. And I enjoy the creative challenge of that. And then there's also the AI issue. Now, with talking about video games, like 90% of the visuals, it doesn't make any sense to use AI. Like every now and then I'll have an idea for like a joke punchline to put like an AI generated image. And sometimes I have, but for the most part, for those kind of joke cutaways, it's actually funnier to cut to a TV show or a movie or a GIF animation like I did with this video. Like I used the clip from Final Space and I used the what's the character Stefan from Saturday Night Live or whatever, or the SpongeBob thing for the anal joke, which I think that joke is so funny, but I don't think I delivered it that well. But I will tighten that stuff up. The way the AI comes into play with this channel is music for the most part. So this video, I put in more music beds. I usually don't put any music beds in. And the reason I didn't put any music beds in before was honestly time. You know, the Fallout TV show videos the format of them was specifically designed for getting the episodes out as fast as possible. Like, quality content that I could stand by. So there was like the formulaic intro, the formulaic outro, and then all the stills, and then just me talking with like intro and outro music. That's it. And it was the Devil in Camp song, the American Murder song. And that era is behind us now. Because they never wrote me back about it. And I just, and it's funny, you know, people have so many moral qualms about AI, but like, using music made by a person without their permission or without their content ID getting some change that's a bigger issue for me. Like you know, I have my own, just like everybody should about most controversial issues, my own moral calculus in my head about when I'm okay with dipping into and there's things that other people are fine with that I'm not fine with. Like I feel less morally conflicted about having AI generated background music than I do doing paid sponsorship saying go to betterhelp.com. Like that would make me feel more gross. You know, I just like people have different moral calculus, and it's you know, and as far as you know, my line with, so when it comes to economic and environmental impact, the way I look at it is if I got hit by a bus for tomorrow and died and didn't make any more content and didn't spend any more money on ChatGPT or anything else, it would make no impact on the AI damage menace whatsoever. Like I'm powerless. In fact, this is not a very educated opinion, but I might go as far as to say AI should might be a thing that should be like a social services like Medicaid, where if you're poor, you can use this boost, this help, but you know, somebody like me using it versus like a corporation using it is just not the same thing. And then the other issue is, so those of you who've like made content, you're probably familiar with the concept of fair use, right? So like if I'm using, you know, video game footage or movie footage, but it's transformative, like I'm clearly adding it into a new moral context or a new creative context, and I'm not replacing, you know, money that would go to the creator, then you know, fair use. So similarly, I don't make AI slop. You know, some people literally just copy text from wiki articles, have 11 labs read it, and then AI generate a bunch of videos to put on top of it, and then just get a bunch of content out that way. That is not what I do. Like, there's human intention fused in every single thing that I do. Either it's like, I started with a song, and we're gonna come back to this in a second, or if it's just like a prompt and generation kind of thing, then it's like a part of a bigger creative context. The biggest example of this would be the Benny and House video on the Dinztopia channel, which I think, you know, hurts in the algorithm because the thumbnail reeks of AI so much that probably just see it and people go, oh, it's gonna be slop, and then they don't click on it. But I'm moving on, so I'm not gonna make a new thumb for that video. But like, there was so much human intention in every single generation in the pictures in that. Like, I had an idea in my head, and then I used a tool to bring that idea to life. It wasn't like, I'm just gonna roll the dice. Like, I'm very conscientious about when I use it. So in this video, there's music beds, the music that from Suno, and a lot of that is because I don't put music in a video just, oh, let's just put music on it so it has music, you know. It's a score. It's a score. It's so intentional what vibe I need the music to have to support the tone under what I'm saying at that moment. So if you didn't notice the music and you watch the video again now, you can notice that. And there's an amount of precision that I can get by generating this music that would take me hours to days to be able to do with stock, you know? And then if it wasn't stock, if it was copyrighted in some way, though, to be fair, I am going to get together Fallout game soundtracks, because especially when you're talking about a game, then most of the visual assets and styling to keep you on brand and focused and connected to that game can be found in the game. That's another thing that I love about game content is, like, if you look at the thumbnails and graphics and everything for the Cyberpunk 2077 videos that are on the Dinztopia channel, I just use the fonts and the color palettes and stuff, you know, and obviously I started off a lot of the stuff on this channel. The graphic I can point right there, is New Vegas style graphics, which is funny because I actually hate New Vegas style graphics. But it's so, I guess the autism likes being on brand more than I like. I'm actually a way bigger fan of the look and graphics of, like, the OG Fallout 1 and 2, which is what I use as the lower bar in my game streaming graphics. But the moral of the story is, as much as I like talking about deep stuff and deep themes, and I am itching to do things that are more creative, more artistic, more, artistic sounds so pretentious, doesn't it? Like, I don't know, design, creativity kind of stuff, not just thinking, also, style, and, use the tools that are available to me within my budget. I am irritated by this not being corrupt enough. That's better. Ah. Now catching up on chat. Dead innocent traveling across the country to south during an apocalypse. What kind of apocalypse? Love the boardwalk for easy pre-war money. Yeah, actually, that's not where I got the shot, but there is lots of pre-war money in Atlantic City stuff. That is a sick shirt. I think a lot of AI concerns now are about who controls data and narrative and trust with people who aren't super trustworthy. Nobody's fucking trustworthy, dude. It is highly costly to be authentic. I wish it weren't true. Considering how many paid sponsorships turn out to essentially be scams, I support your thoughts on this. My first, like, successful stint on YouTube was a long time ago, so that was like 2013. It was the last time I had, like, a rhythm like this, so like 13 fucking years ago. And I wanted it to take off, and I wanted to make money, and so I did this, I did like a couple of paid sponsor videos. And while I was recording my sponsor bit, sometimes your nervous system hurts so much, your soul hurts, you know? I was like, I hate doing this so much. Like, please, just put some pre-roll ads on my shit. Give me a bite of the YouTube Premium subscription. Anything but this. Anything but this. And when I'm watching another video, I respect the hustle. I really do. I don't have judgment against these creators. They are playing the game that's presented. But when I'm watching a video and then all of a sudden go, and thanks so much to our sponsor, BetterHelp or whatever it is, and I can hear that the lines that they're saying were bought, I don't mind being paid for my labor. I mind a lot being paid for my voice. My voice. That's different. That's like, it's one thing to like design a graphic or pick up trash or clean somebody's house or to like do work with my body and my mind. But what advertisers are paying for is your rapport with your audience. Your audience trusts you and connects to you, and you trust and connect with your audience. And corporations wiggle their way between that relationship, and it made me feel violated. It made me feel so violated. Like, you know, I think about that part in the Truman Show when Truman's wife is doing the product placement, and he's like, who are you talking to? You know, there's like no connection between the two of them. There's this thing between, and I'm just like, if what I'm presenting to my audience that makes them watch me is my authenticity, that's not for sale. That's so everybody's got their things. So people can be up my ass for my AI use, but I care about other things more. At the before, when I was doing like the film school thing, and like trying to like make it in the industry, in order for me to like get my vision and get my things created, I had to sort of boss around volunteer workers a lot. And I always felt like I didn't have the right to do that if I wasn't paying them. And people would want to help me with stuff, but I'm really, really careful about like free labor. I don't want to exploit people, but like I want my vision and I want my thing created the way that I see it. And so I always try to do what I can, as much as I can on my own with software and with tools, so I can treat tools like tools and treat people like people. I don't want to treat people like tools. So a few streams ago when I asked you about the BRB music was because it sounded familiar to me, is that yes. Yes, it was. And you'll notice I dodged that question. I just said it's not from anything. I remember you asking me that. Because at the time I was trying to decide how I was going to deal with that when people ask me that. Because I don't want to lie, but I don't want to draw attention to it either if it's going to, like, fucking make things complicated. I haven't finished listening to it, but I don't think the type of apocalypse is important. Ah! Then maybe it's good that they don't explain it. Zines are a lot of fun to make. They would fit your voice and style as well. Zines? Like, you mean like digital zines? How about locations? I like the casinos they built there in Fallout 76. They sort of feel like bunkers and underground because casinos are built. Yeah, I have a lot of pictures that I've taken in the casinos in Atlantic City. Which one did I like better? There was the Neapolitan and the... What's the other one called? I think the Neapolitan... There's two of them, and I think the Neapolitan one is the one I like better. You would look like a great Rosalind Myers? Oh my god! Oh man. I wanted her to be not a good guy. I knew she was a bad guy because she was the... I don't want to get into Cyberpunk spoilers. She is a little bit... It's weird to call Rosalind Myers femme, but... Yeah, I mean, she wears little heels, doesn't she? But I see where you're coming from with that. 100% agree with you on the crushing, soul-sucking versus respecting others for doing what they feel they need to do is a deep thought, overwhelmed spiral I have to make sure I don't accidentally fall into. Thinking, this is true. I guess it's just the most genuine person for my interests is me. I don't trust what AI and corporations do with my data. I don't think it's bad to use AI. Laws are behind, though. Oh my god, they're so behind. Oh my god. It's, we live in the Wild West. Like, people are going to look back and be like, what the hell was it like to live through this? That is if we have any more babies. Which people are more and more discouraged from doing. But the fact that you feel so gross from exploiting the connection is why people like me love your channel. Oh, thank you. It's a real safe place for my brain. I feel like I'm able to trust you. That means so much. That really, really, really means a lot. I would rather have, you know, a very small amount of views of people who view me that way than be really, really famous and popular for people who don't need that because, like I said, authenticity costs a lot. So it's worth it to magnetize the right people. I wonder if John Henry Eden could make AI art. Um, you do actually look like Rosalind, do I? Oh man, she's so... I don't know, she's so like classy and proper, and I feel like I want to look like a more like a roughneck. I want to be Betsy from New Vegas. That's my but there is something kind of cool about being compared to Rosalind Myers. And also just +1 for mentioning who do I want to be the most in probably female V, honestly. Well, though V does piss me off. It's a fun question. You might get that Black Mirror episode of having digital copies online of ourselves. Babies are hard. Inflation here is 25% up from 5 years ago. Rent up by 250. Power companies kind of have a monopoly on certain areas. The grocery bill, yeah. I think in one of my videos I said something like, "The world is my baby, baby." So what are we gonna do? I want to keep having fun like that. You know what was actually sort of unexpected and unplanned about this week's video is I really liked the parts when I was talking about locations that I didn't like. Like the White Spring thing. So much love to the White Spring, real and digital. But I think that the way that I talked smack about it was really funny. And, like, not hateful. Like, I thought it was, like, weirdly not negative. And also there's kind of, like, a little bit of a twist, because I'm like, oh, it's a place that doesn't lack style. Is the White Spring. It's hideous. Like, there's something about the bait and switch there that amuses me a lot. And it felt like worthwhile content to talk about why I preferred Far Harbor to the boardwalk. So maybe just being like, oh, let's talk about places I like all the time. Maybe I don't necessarily have to do that. And also, I liked sort of vaguely touching on the game and lore context of the location as sort of something to put over the footage, because, you know, having footage of the locations is... I'm just really excited to do the next thing, but I need to, like... Because a part of me is like, okay, do I just go on a location binge right now and just do that for, like, the next few weeks? Which seems like a bad idea, being how low the numbers were. Oh yeah, then there's also the question of the thumbnail. So this, it kind of goes back to, we were talking about, like, the moral calculus, right? How there's some things that other people don't mind doing that makes me cringe, and then there's things that other people have suspicions or bad vibes about that I have less of a moral problem with. And that's when we get into the area of what people call clickbait, right? To me, clickbait is only clickbait if you click on the video and what you watch is not promised by the premise. Like, just recently I saw a video that did this really overtly in an irritating way. It was a really good video, actually. It was about the movie Sinners, and they were talking about the twins effect of Michael B. Jordan, you know, being duplicated to be Smoke and Stack. That is an excellent movie, by the way, if you haven't seen Sinners. But the thumbnail, even though the video was about the twins effect, the thumbnail was Haley Steinfeld. Just her face. And I think the title was related, but the thumbnail was just Haley Steinfeld's face, but the video had nothing to do with her or her character or anything. To me, that is a clickbait line I will not cross. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Maybe it wasn't this stream, but it was like one of my Silent Hill streams talking about thumbnails and faces, right? That's like probably the only like surefire thing that tends to work is or like there's a trend in the positive, is if there's like a close-up of somebody's face. It just reads well in thumbnail format. So usually for the Fallout videos, I tried to focus on, you know, focusing on a person. Simple, bold, and then also just like, having been a professional video editor for 20 years, I'm sort of having an ingrained habit of building intrigue, questions, and answers, right? So most of my Fallout TV show videos, the title is a question that the video answers. So the question and the intrigue, the opening of the door, is the clickbaity thing, the manipulation. And then, but as long as I answer the question in the video that I asked, I don't feel gross about it. Is it manipulative? But it's manipulating you for fun, kind of like how video games manipulate you for fun. Like, if you see the thumbnail and the title, and it makes you curious what the answer to that question is, or it's a question you've wondered yourself. In fact, I actually had somebody say that to me specifically. It was the, is Lucy good or just nice, I think was the title. And somebody, in one of the Discords I'm in mentioned to me, like, yeah, that's actually a question that I had wondered. And when I saw your thumb, I was like, hey, I know that person. And I was like, cool, that speaks highly of that thumb and that question. So I knew I wanted to do this video about locations. I knew I wanted to do a video about the 76 locations because I wanted to do something fun and light and take a break after the Ghoul Seat thing. But then I was like, okay, well, what's the question that I'm going to answer? Like, what's the intrigue? Because if I just say Fallout 76 locations, there's no intrigue, there's no door, there's no, ooh, what's that, And I enjoy the art form. I don't feel gross doing that stuff because I enjoy the art form of making you guys curious about what I have to say about something. And you guys enjoy being curious and having that curiosity satisfied. It feels very consensual. It doesn't feel gross. And so I just thought, like, what is, thinking about Fallout fandom. And that's another thing about, like, sort of the communication skill aspect. So, like, if I'm taking people on a journey, that's two Fallout 76 locations. And now I'm thinking about where I'm expecting my audience to be. And my audience might play 76, might not, but regardless is familiar with the shit that the game gets. That's the thing that unites all of us, right? Whether you like it or hate it, or whether you are never going to play it, whether you have no interest, whether you think it's ruined the franchise, no matter what your opinion is, chances are you're familiar that the game is made fun of and seen as problematic and, not the real fans, etc. So that's why the video starts on that understanding and the anal joke, and which I think that was such a good joke, but I don't think I delivered it that well. I've rehearsed it too many times in my head, I think, because I think I knew I wanted to make that reference in a video at some point. Maybe I did in like a stream or something. So that's what I decided to start from, was Fallout 76 is underrated, but this is a thing that's amazing about it, right? But maybe that was too big a jump, maybe, I should have gotten closer to the topic of locations in some way. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. But that was the reasoning that I did. And then also, I was talking about faces earlier with thumbnails. So, because I knew I was going to talk about locations, and I was going to start with this question, I was like, well, 76, the vault, wasn't one of the locations that I was going to talk about. But I needed a striking image that sold, like, this video is about 76, and I have my character and my quantum armor standing there with the thumbs up. And I, for some reason, just like had this vision in my head of like the black box that says underrated in like handwriting style on there. And I guess I just decided to go with my gut, and it ended up not panning out. But I really wanted to avoid over-engineering the thumb. Like, originally I was like, gonna make a compilation, sort of a collage, but collage thumbnails are bad ideas. They never, like, I only did it for the TV show videos once. It was the Are the Karma Hits Worth It? And once again, putting karma hits in the title was probably too precise, too detailed, and the thumbnail had too many details, too many little pieces. And so when that video didn't do as well, I wasn't that surprised. So I think with this thumbnail, I went too far the other direction. But actually, if any of you are interested in this, what is kind of fun to do is to look at your own video history and look at what thumbnails you clicked on. You know, I've done that sometimes. That actually, looking at my own watch history and sort of like sort of analyzing and getting introspective about like what thumbnails give me that feeling that I'm trying to create for other people, that, ooh, I'm intrigued by this, click on it and see what it is. And what I don't like, there's actually a YouTuber that I've been watching a lot of content of, and I love this guy's content. I'll open my history. Is he'll do like sort of a retrospective of different video games. He does a lot of horror video games, which is a genre that I'm a fan of. But the way that he titles his videos annoys me because they are a little bit too vague in the way that my current video was. Like, the YouTuber, I may as well shout him out because his content is great. His name's Mikey Lee. But, like, he'll do a video about, I don't even know, I think it was the first Resident Evil game, and he titled it The Darkest Resident Evil Game. And then he, when he did a video about Resident Evil 2, he called it, I replayed the Resident Evil that terrified me as a kid. And all of his, videos, oh, and his video about Silent Hill 3 was called The Most Disturbing Silent Hill Game. Do you see the pattern? And I'm like, I can tell by looking at the thumb which game he's talking about. But if I didn't, and I wanted to see him talk about Silent Hill 3, like, what I would, if I was doing a thread like that, then I feel like I would do the title and then in parentheses put Silent Hill 3. You know, like, sort of like how when I do the Fallout TV show videos, I will have, like, the title, and then I'll put in parentheses, Fallout Season 2. Like, just something to, like, be organized. But that's the thing, is if you're trying to build intrigue and satisfy curiosity, and get that dopamine going, you can't give the game away. Like, you have to be purposefully mysterious. But, oh yeah, so I was talking about something that I learned from looking at this history stuff that made me kind of pivot. So, before I was doing the questions, right, which I still in general like, but I was kind of getting a little bit too, like, are the karma hits worth it would be an example where I was kind of overcomplicating it and getting a little bit too in my head with picking a question that was relevant and answered in the video. Like, I swear, I would make those TV show videos, and I would just sit down and start recording, and I wouldn't know what the video was about until I was done. And then when I was done, I'd be like, is there a common theme here? Like, I think probably a big out-of-the-park success in this regard was the Are They All Addicts video. Because I had no idea that I was going to talk about all these storylines in terms of neurochemical addiction. And then when it came out of my mouth, I was like, that's a great hook. And that video did well. So after looking at my history, and I was looking at, like, so I always do that question method. But when I looked at my videos, I was like, none of the videos I watch do that. So I have this idea in my head that this is effective. But I'm not clicking on videos that do that. So what is effective? And I noticed there was a lot of these statements that were vague and sort of provocative. That they don't necessarily have to be questions to give you that feeling that there is something, that there's something you want kind of filled in, that you want the video to fill in for you. And that motivated me to do the house thumb that said, we deserve him. That's it. We deserve him. 3 words, bold for a thumb. It's not a question, but it makes you curious, right? And that has been the strongest video I've put out since the end of the show. So there's something there. And there's something really kind of ballsy, isn't there, about people who just have a thumb that's just a still, like just a close-up shot, because they have all figured out the face mid-shot thing. And then the title will just be like an opinion in all lowercase. Like you'll just see like a thumb that's just like a picture of a character's face that you would recognize from a game or a movie. And then the title will be like, the second I saw her face, I knew it was over. That's cool. And I'm like, I click on shit like that. I do. And there's like no effort there. It's almost like the cavalier vibe of that, like, oh shit, here we go. Like, but it's not really my style. And that kind of brings us back to what we were saying earlier when I was talking about AI music and me wanting to be more creative, is I do tend to over-engineer things because I like fiddling with shit, you know? I like just doing like a still from something with just that one line maybe would give me more clicks, but you know, and also things like I know that the intro spoiler warning, which is now gonna have a photosensitivity warning, and the terms of service thing, like I know I lose people with that shit. Nobody else does that but me. I've never seen another YouTuber do it. And I'm sure, and my views are also shit, so I'm doing the math. That's probably hurting me. But I'm doing this like sort of teeter-totter, this sort of not teeter-totter, like a balancing rope walk balance thing of I want to be more successful and get more numbers, yes, but not as somebody else. So I'm sort of inching forward and I'm like, eventually I'm gonna hit this rhythm where I get enough views and enough support and enough people coming in that I get some ad revenue that actually like makes a difference in my life. I would like to not live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Because, you know, I'm surviving month to month, week to week, fine, but, like, if anything, if my computer breaks, if my dog gets sick, like, I've got nothing. So I've got to build some sort of resources, and I'm on this journey with this channel, and I gotta see where it goes. So things like playing around with the thumbnail and the question and answer thing, and after I'm done talking, I'm gonna look at chat, because I want to obviously see what you all have to say about this, what your feedback is. Because if you're here, you're a feral cool, and you're in the click, so I'll actually listen to your opinion. I am trying to, if I, like, basically make the status quo happy, you know, no AI anywhere, that's probably, like, not, this isn't really like a huge example, but, like, really just, follow the trends, follow the expectations, do what other YouTubers are doing, and then I got really successful doing that, I would be miserable, because as soon as you get successful, you're kind of trapped, because now the audience expects a certain thing from you. But at this point, because my views are humble, I have flexibility to experiment, because I don't really have anything to lose. And so I'm going to keep experimenting and keep fiddling around with things, and not put pressure on myself to people please or do what I think other people want me to do, because I don't gain anything from doing that anyway, you know, like, so I'm kind of blessed with lack of success right now, that I can keep fiddling and tweaking and experimenting with what makes me feel gross, what doesn't make me feel gross, what feels authentic, what feels, like, authentic but not so authentic that the channel is self-indulgent, which is, I know, is how I come off to a lot of people. But it is right now. We're in a self-indulgent phase while I'm figuring out what I want to offer you all. You know, right now I'm still figuring out what I enjoy doing and what I can stick to on a weekly basis, and what keeps me excited, what keeps me creative, what keeps me. And then once I hit a rhythm of something that I'm really enjoying making and doing, and, like, creatively and, you know, logistically, you know, and, you know, things like whatever concept I do for these weekly videos has to be something that I can do all the recording, like 90% of the recording on Wednesday, a little bit into Tuesday night, and do all the editing on Thursday and have a video up Friday morning. That has to be, because until I start on Tuesday night, first of all, I need all that time to just decide what I want to do, and also to do client work and take care of the rest of my life. Take care of my other business on Monday and Tuesday. And the rest of the day Friday, which tends to not really happen because I'm thinking about the stream on Saturday. but this is what we're working toward. And I have a great routine with my dog now too. So we're still playing around with what I'm doing creatively, and so stay agile, stay with me, because I'm still kind of figuring it out in this empty zone of when there's not a TV show. Okay, I will scroll up and look at chat now. Been to the Greenbrier and it's so bad. The cabins aren't so bad, but the main hotel is awful. I'm gonna be in West Virginia for the next convention, but I can't be there for that long because I have dog care, which I still don't know how I'm gonna afford. We might have to do like a charity live stream to get the money together. Ooh, maybe we will do that actually, to get my dog sitting in order. I don't know when. I'll figure that out, but I need like $400 or something to pay my dog sitters to take care of my dog while I'm in West Virginia. So I'm only going to be there for like 3-4 days, and I'm going to take a red eye. So I have to sleep on a plane. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to get super fucked up. I don't know how I'm going to sleep on a plane. I'm so scared. But I have no choice, because then when I get picked up the next morning, we're going to have to be prepping for the conference, for the convention. I keep wanting to say conference because, you know, I'm a vendor with Atlas OmniCorp. Website's almost done, atlasomnicorp.com. Keep an eye on it. We're working on the redesign right now. It's most likely going to be up next week, and I designed that website. I also sell props. I'm kind of a big deal in this fandom. And now back to reading chat. I understand your sarcasm. It was a mix of appreciative while also pointing out the pros and cons of design choices. I'm entertained. I'm purely entertained by how not disgusting, how ugly I think that place is. You kill raiders because they're evil. I kill them because they're messy, and I love lakes and space stations. Sure, why not? There's a lot of top 5 shorts, but when they got to number 1, they never show it. What were you referring to there? I was kind of wondering what you meant about not being confident about the thumbnail, so thanks for more in-depth explanation. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to that. I hope you enjoy my behind-the-scenes rants. About to go look up all the railways and try to guess where the Enclave place is in Colorado. Ooh! Storytelling and presentation is an art. Yes, it is. Clickbait is considered negative because it doesn't provide the depth that is promised through the title. Yep. 100% agree with your nutshell about those two very deep topics. Yes. Clickbait is considered negative because it doesn't provide the depth that is promised through the title. You do the opposite, I think. Thank you, Midnight Whimsies. Geography in Fallout and following roads or railways or some of that stuff always gets me good. Like the player from Fallout 3 would have gone through the tunnel on the right of the 76 map, Harper's Ferry. Yeah. Harper's Ferry is a really good location. The best lore channel was the one that had the Storyteller. Yes, I fucking loved the Storyteller. I've actually talked a lot about that with Atlas. So that's another thing that's coming up is, you know, I do like my talky talk thing on this channel, but I will be doing comedy sketches and more fiction Fallout universe stuff on the Atlas OmniCorp channel eventually. We have written a lot of scripts, but we haven't recorded anything. And Storyteller is a huge influence. I love machinima filmmaking. I want to record more stuff in games, you know? So people should leave my AI music alone, because I'm gonna make everything else, all the visual shit I want to make in the game. Recording stuff in games is one of my favorite fucking things to do. And I feel like I'm not making enough time for it, you know? It's like a huge hobby for me. I want to, something that I have to do as soon as I can is for the comedy sketches that we're doing for Atlas OmniCorp. I need to build our characters in Fallout 4. and start staging that stuff. And then we can start recording the sketches. I can't wait till you guys see them. They're so funny. We have been laughing our asses off. It is ridiculous. The best way to describe it, these sketches, it's me and Atlas, aka Nick, Atlas Omnicorp, and our buddy Scott / Kiwi. I've talked about both of these people many times. I showed you guys pictures. And I talked about, after the Faith episode, I showed you pictures of like my 2 best Fallout friends. We're doing comedy sketches. Highly inspired by Red vs. Blue. But based on how the sketches are shaping up, I feel like you could easily call it It's Always Sunny in the Commonwealth. Like, that's basically what it is. It's terrible people being hilarious and terrible to each other. It's so Fallout. It's so, and they're all, like, our characters are exaggerations of us. It's basically, like, amplifying our more evil or less desirable, darker qualities. Yeah, me and Atlas kind of had a conversation sort of joking, like, okay, we're not going to use these scripts to passive-aggressively be shitty to each other, are we? Like, I was really worried about that, because sometimes we'd have some, like, personal conversations that would give me an idea for a sketch, and then I would share it with him, and I'd be like, just so you know, I didn't mean this in that other conversation, but that conversation did give me this idea. You'll definitely get a sense of that, and, you know, like, my character is a lot meaner, a lot more, she's kind of got some sitcom wife qualities. Like, you know, like, the sitcom wife that's like, oh my god, these boys are crazy. She has sort of that, sort of vibe. But I don't really think it has as much to do with my femininity as much as it has to do with my autism. Because I'm just really rigid. And, basically, like, having to get these guys to fucking, like, focus on the task at hand. And the idea that we don't really like each other, but we're stuck together because we have to do this work together to survive, and all our past situations didn't work out. Everybody has a backstory. There's gonna be, like, just sketches that don't really explain the lore for a little bit, probably, before we start dropping, like, what the fuck we're doing out here. But we do have a lore excuse that we can show up in any game we want. So we could show up in Vegas, we could show up in the Commonwealth, and it'll make sense. And that, it took some fiddling to figure out how to make that work. Your overthinking is weirdly making me smile and feel validated on several layers that others have made me— Oh, really? Really? Oh, man. Do you not have enough autistic friends? A lot of that shame goes away when you have other autistic friends. Yes man's face thumbnail neuron activation. I am very amused by the idea of releasing a video about I don't know what. And the thumbnail is just yes man's face. And the title of the video is, I made yes man the thumbnail for no reason. I want to do that. I don't know what video I'm going to tuck underneath there. But I could put anything on the other side of that thumbnail and it would be funny. Oh my god. Is this like you heard it here first? Should we do that this week? But what would be a funny thing to put on the other side of that thumbnail? That would be like quality content that's worth watching, and somebody who would be drawn to that thumbnail. I want to hear you guys in chat with your ideas about that, because I think that is hilarious. I always avoid the clickbait looking ones. Yes, I mean, sometimes, the thing is, nowadays, with everybody trying to compete in this attention economy for clicks, you know, like, I was talking about that YouTuber earlier, the Mikey, and he isn't clickbaiting, per se, because he is showing in the thumbnail, and the content is really great. Like, he's, one of my favorite new YouTubers. I don't know how he's new, but he's new to me. The vague title that it feels disingenuine, because it's like what every game is: the most disturbing, the most unreal, the most whatever. I'm like, you're just talking about that game. Like, I don't know. Something about that, I don't like it. But he's way more successful than me, so I'll shut the fuck up. Engagement bait. I will be honest, I look at the title more than I look at the thumbnail, and if the thumbnail is too much, I won't click on it a lot of the time. Well, a lot of thumbnail stuff is also really weirdly subconscious. Like a bad thumbnail, you might not even look at the title. It's a lot of weird, like, eye-pulling stuff. Like, I had to put some conscious effort into, like, I didn't know. Like, if you'd asked me, like, what thumbnails do I want to click on, I wouldn't know. I went and looked at my history to see what I click on. Because, like, sort of when you're riding the dopamine waves, so much reactivity is going on, which is one of the reasons why social media is so dangerous. Um, YouTube thumbnail and title gold is telling people they are wrong, missed something. Ah, or they don't want you to know about this. Oh, if I see one more, they don't want you to know. That's like, that is the kind of stuff that like would make me cringe. I have fun creating intrigue, you know? Like, I was talking about the format that I like earlier, where it's just a thumb and the line is like, they really screwed with us with this shot or whatever. Look, it feels really conversationally intriguing. But when I see what I know is a manipulation tactic, what I know is like, and it doesn't feel like that conversational, I'm just like, try harder. Hook versus truth versus integrity spiral. I appreciate that you make decisions and move forward even if you still question the choices. Yeah, that took a long time. And I think that's one of the reasons I talk about AI so much, is because that's the area where I have the most cognitive dissonance. Um, like, other people don't bring it up to me nearly as much as I bring it up. I'm cognizant of that. But it's not really it is about what other people think about AI, but it's also about what I think about it, you know? Then you later often build upon or accept when it's a mistake, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, that's really the fun thing about this stage with the channel, is having this experimental sort of wiggle room. I want to try things I want to grow. That's another thing about, you know, people like the sort of the critics that I'm like hyper conscious of that I shouldn't be, is if I don't decide, I'm gonna ignore people who complain about these things. Everything that's in like the comment terms of service thing. If I don't decide, I'm gonna not listen to those people. Then they're gonna keep dragging me down. It's like that crab mentality thing. Like I'm decided where I sit on this issue, and I want to move on, and I want to learn new things, and I want to grow creatively. And if I end up having all of my energy diverted toward the people that don't like me or have moral problems with the decisions I make or whatever, then all my attention is going on. There's a line in one of my videos where I say something like, if you are facing threats to your children, then your back is turned to your children. Same basic idea. If I'm defending myself from my enemies all the time, then I'm constantly paying attention to my enemies and ignoring the people that love me. And that is a mistake that I've made personally, like through my whole life. And you'd think you would be like, oh, well, then you figured it out, Lindsay. Stop paying attention to those people and focus on the people that love you. But the reason I still struggle with it is because I don't want to be heartless toward those people. Like, we talked about this before, where, like, I'm not bothered by homophobic comments because I don't want homophobic people in my tribe anyway. It's when the social justice warrior people, the people that actually care about making the world a better place, when those people are mad at me, it's really hard to deal. Oh my god, thank you for the 20 bucks! I kind of love how this group is now just hanging out. Yeah, I like it too. I like this crew. Thank you. That was a big bite. I really appreciate that. Every single bit helps. Right, I was talking about paying attention to the people who love me and not blah blah. Okay, the reason I still struggle with it is because I don't want to be heartless toward those people. So if somebody says you're a homophobe, I don't care about being heartless to them. They've opted out. That's what I'm calling that group of people, is people who, if you don't want to connect with me, I don't want to connect with you. Like, I think I mentioned in a post recently, there was somebody who commented that they lost respect for me, and so I hid them from the channel, because I don't need somebody who doesn't respect me to take up space in my fucking brain. You know, they've opted out. They don't have room in my heart or in my head anymore. They said they don't respect me, you know? And I didn't add it to the terms of service because I just thought that the house rules, because I just thought, if anything should go without fucking saying. Like, no, if you tell somebody, I've lost respect for you, and they have respect for themselves, why would they listen to you about anything ever again? You've opted out. Goodbye. But so, but there's a lot of people in the social justice warrior kind of side. You know, I mean, not that they don't care, but they get off on putting pressure on other people who care. Like, they kind of like sniff the internet for people who want to do the right thing and care and will listen, and they want to be heard so bad that they will become bullies. There's a lot of bullying in social justice. And that's why in the house rules, I say, if I did harm, give me a time code, you know, because I'm basically like, I'm not going to be dumped on, okay? If you have something to say and it really matters and you can really back it up and you can tell me the harm, and you're not going to go, you should just know, I'm not going to do the emotional labor of explaining it to you, whatever, any of that shit, then go away. Either explain to me what I did wrong or go away. Like, because I do want to know, but I don't want to be dumped on. And what a lot of these people do is if you try to engage in a conversation, they'll be like, oh, you did this thing and it's offensive to blah, blah, blah. And then when you go, okay, let's break it down. What did you have a problem with? What did I say? Give me the time code. Then they will just like misdirect you and then play semantic games. So I'm sincerely trying to understand what I did wrong. So I'll be like, okay, so you're saying this. And it's not that and they'll think I'm oversimplifying the issue, but what I'm really doing is getting to the premise, you know, because a lot of us, you know, we have our moral opinions and our takes on things. There's like a premise that everything else is sitting on. Like, for example, people who are struggling with the gender revolution that's going on right now, and they're like, no, the dictionary says a man is this and a woman is this. And you're like, okay, is your premise, what's in the dictionary? Is your premise, you know, like something that gets thrown around a lot? It's like their premise is XY chromosomes. And I'm like, well, do you know that there are intersex people who have these chromosomes? It's like, you know, and you'll try to show them that the line between the two is blurry. So what I'll be doing is if somebody comes at me with something over something I said, I'll try to find that premise. And then they'll say, I'm oversimplifying it. And I'm like, no, I'm not oversimplifying it. Everything that your argument is extrapolated from is based on this premise. And if that premise is false, then your Jenga has toppled over, my friend. Like, I didn't just pick a simple issue. I picked the foundational thing about whatever your point is. And so that's one of the things that's really frustrating if somebody comes at me like, I'm willing to go on this journey with you, but I'm going to want to ask you these questions and these components of your argument. And they will just misdirect me. They'll just swap me around. And I'm like, because what they haven't faced is that the core of their argument is emotional and not logical, you know? And at that point, it's just like, and I have been schooled on things, don't get me wrong. I absolutely have. Especially a lot of the race stuff that I talk about in the Ghoulsy video, that I talk about, you know, white privilege ignorance because I experience it, you know, and in order to come out of that, you have to look back and go, oh, I was really dumb about that issue before, yikes. There was some fundamental principle. And honestly, I think the guy who said that he lost respect for me hasn't gone on the journey that I went on. Because he's still on the kick of, like, the thing he lost respect for was me saying in any context that people of different races should be held to, like, different standards. And I'm like, okay, so if two people are running in a foot race and one person in the race starts half a mile behind the other person, you don't think it makes sense to give the person who's a half a mile behind, you know, you think it's not fair to give that person an advantage that the person who's already half a mile ahead has? Like, they just don't, like, because of that white default problem, white people don't understand the unlevel playing field. you know? And then we go to school, and there's people all these different races around us going to the same school, taking the same classes, and so we're like, looks even to me, buddy, but it's not. And then when people of color try to explain, this is the difference of situation we're looking at, we go, oh, stop, you're making me feel bad. It's like, we make these assumptions of an even start based on our own perspective, and then when other people try to tell us what we're missing from that perspective, we go, ugh, I just want escapism. I just want an escape. I don't want to hear about your perspective. It's like, you're making decisions that are impacting the world negatively for these people, and then when they try to explain to you what's going on, I don't want to be that person, and I don't want to entertain other people. So if I've gone on a journey to figure out different sides of an issue, and somebody goes, nope, I don't want to think about those other sides, opt out. And it's hard because I want to have compassion for everybody, but I can't. I can't. I'm 40 years old and I have no savings. I need to move on from trying to be good enough for everybody in the world. That sounds a lot like me too. Curiosity versus potentially worthwhile time sink. Yeah. And oh, oh, Kerbal Snarky's here. I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in. Two musicians I am linked with IRL might take commissions, probably aren't the kind of music that would work Fallout themes. I think you should make your own. Get a hold of an old banjo or acoustic guitar. Oh, F you! Okay, first of all, I've talked about, I love you, you're a supporter, but that is a horrible thing to say. Okay, first of all, I didn't get into this when I was talking about earlier, because I just didn't finish the thought. But a part of the way that I use AI for music, right now, like for a lot of the music beds, because it's like background music, but what I do, which you will hear a little bit of during the BRB screen, is I will sing into a microphone and put that in and use Suno to flesh out my song that came out of my brain, okay? I'm a decent singer. I am a really good songwriter. And but what I can't do is play instruments. And this goes into kind of what I touched on in this week's video, where I was talking about my sense of direction and how I struggle to play, even though I love video games, I struggle to play them. Same exact neurodivergent issues interfere with my ability to play musical instruments, my friend. So I can't just pick up a banjo for you, okay? Like, I have taken years of guitar lessons, years of piano lessons. I even got software so that I could sing and it would convert into musical notes. But when I was making music for myself in Reason, which is the software I liked the most because it has like cables in the back and it looked more like old AV systems that I was familiar with, I would program the notes one at a time because I can't play instruments, okay? So, get a hold of an old banjo or acoustic guitar that's a bit out of tune and is ableist, my friend. Ableist. I tried for years to play instruments. For years. And for the record, I do have long-term plans with one of my friends that I'm doing the comedy sketches with, who is a good guitar player and musician. And at that point, I want to only use AI as sort of like a previs tool. And then long-term plans is to collaborate and make real music with real instruments with a real musician, you know. But what you guys are gonna hear that I added to the BRB screen, unless maybe you heard a little bit earlier, is I sang Funky Deathclaw, the Funky Deathclaw ditty, and you know, with prompt information and metronome information, blah blah blah, and had it fleshed out to sound like a song from Fallout. So you're gonna hear melodies, but that melody came from my brain. So I can still be creative as a songwriter, as a singer, as a creator of melodies, and not play instruments because I don't have the hand-eye coordination for that. Can't do it. Tried. Sorry, really rubbed me the wrong way. Do your characters also wear masks so they don't have to worry about lip sync? So go figure, the two musicians I've, okay. How do we feel about the YouTuber Cretosis? I don't remember who that is. I'm really interested. I'd be really curious to see how different our algorithms are treating each other. Like, if you guys are fans of my content, do you guys watch similar content to me? Would be an interesting question. Have anyone seen Punky Doodle's Autismo the Spectrum Crusader? No, but is that as funny as it sounds? I hope it is. The title has my attention for sure. I would love to see more overtly autistic humor because autistic people can be so protective and spiky about representation. So when I see autism humor, I'm really impressed that they're getting away with it because a lot of autistic people don't understand a lot of humor. And we'll take it as being made fun of. I'm gonna talk about that eventually on the channel when I'm done trying to do stuff for fun and really willing to do social justice again. On the facing enemies and your explanation, what a good bad nutshell explanation of a ton of shit I'm eternally trying to find balance in for me, making my kids better than me. Yeah, it's it really makes me sad. It totally like destroyed my relationship with my mother because she was a good mom in the sense of protecting me from stuff, but she also didn't allow me to she didn't support my development at all. She didn't have a relationship with me. She just lectured and paid bills and deflected threats. And that isn't enough. Opting out. Difference in debate versus discussion. Debate is not really useful outside of rhetoric. Discussion is a meaningful, is a respectful exchange of ideas and limitations. Yeah, I think that that distinction is important for people to make and that they often don't. The Yes Man Thumb could be about how the three main factions in New Vegas all brought something bad from the old with them. Three main factions in New Vegas all brought something bad from the old with them. Legion, slavery, and conquest. NCR, rich, having more power than they should. I like that idea, but it gave me another idea that I think might be better suited to what ideas my brain is generating. And what I'm thinking about, this is the idea that I'm thinking about. I guess I'm putting a marker in this in case I end up doing anything with it. Is we are yes man, like in life a lot of the time. And what I mean by we is, you know, when you talk to like most people who are like solid in their beliefs about the world or at least they give an air that they, or a vibe that they do, they tend to be very like capitalism sucks but communism isn't any better and this is the world the way it is, and if I were running things, if only the world, like people tend to have these very thinking that the world, if the world would just do this one simple thing that they know, then we would have peace on earth. People would just stop doing this thing. Like people have this very you know, when people are looking at trolls or you know, that's a really good example. Talking about like Fallout fans who cause trouble in comment sections and stuff. And they're like, oh, why can't these people just relax? Or, oh, why are these people trying to yuck everybody's yum? But they don't actually know anything about what goes on in human neurology, human psychology, the circumstances in these people's lives. They've never actually explored why these people are the way they are. They just go, oh, well, that's a person that is opted out, and so I don't need to understand them. They're just wrong, right? Well, that's fine unless you actually want to try to come up with a real solution. And I really wanted to like come up with real solutions, so without letting people violate my boundaries, I tried to explore and see why people are the way they are. And so I feel like Yes Man is I mean, Benny was gonna go the Yes Man route. Why? Because he was like, well, the NCR sucks, the Legion sucks, and House sucks. We need none of them. We need to just, you know, take the reins ourselves and not obey any of these people. But then, as we all know, a lot of shit goes wrong because if you have just the people running around and there's no structure, there's no government, there's no organization, there's no, you know, people don't know what they're doing and things, you know, kind of collapse. So what you're suggesting kind of got me thinking about is maybe the thing to put behind the Yes Man Thumb But then it wouldn't be for no reason, would it? Which is like the hook of the thumb, right? The thing on the other side of it is, you know, basically how we are all yes man, and we all need to sort of humble ourselves a little bit that we wouldn't know what we were doing either, and that the problems aren't as simple as we think they are. Like a lot of people, for an example of this yes man mentality that I see a lot is people who just think eat the rich, right? If we just got rid of all the billionaires, or if all the here's one that people are wrong about, is if all the billionaires, just like Janestown and Firefly, just dumped all the money out of the airplane all over the world, then all the world's problems would be saved, because billionaires don't need to have that much money. But realistically, what would happen is some Jeff Bezos type would, you know, see this boon and create a product or a company, and that manipulated people's brains enough or filled this need in the market enough, and all the money would just suck back up to another billionaire. Like, there are problems inside all of us, spiritually and mentally and emotionally, that need to get addressed before all the billionaires dump all the money out the windows. We're too vulnerable to those kind of people right now. Even if they all just died and all the money got evenly distributed. You know, this is something that I was thinking about a lot when I was doing my activism phase, is this... Because I had a benefactor that had a lot of money. So first, like, the conversation comes, it's like, well, if you have that kind of money, don't you have, like, a moral responsibility to just dump it all on this initiative and just, you know, not control it, right? And relinquish control of all of that wealth and let other people have it. But there's a reason why billionaires and people with lots of money who do want to donate, that do want to give back, give it to charities and organizations, and don't just dump it out of a window. Like, you know, and that's kind of what Yes Man is the equivalent of, is dumping all the money out of a window. But the systems and the beliefs and the psychology and the manipulation tactics in play, we need to educate people better on how to define and protect their boundaries and say no to abuse and exploiters. Because right now we live in a system that encourages you to exploit or be exploited. You know, that's the social system that we've all approved of. People are terrified of narcissists and horrible at identifying them. Like, we make these people president. Like, I was singing Funky Deathclaw while I cooked dinner. Nice. House is oligarchy, but also a dictatorship, unless you have better battle. Yeah, the thing about the House, and I maybe this is something I could have said in the House video, is that the amount of power that he has and the amount of power that he expects is wrong. But if you're gonna give all that power to any guy, there could be worse ones. Like, the nature of how much power he has, the idea of a person having that much power is bad, you know? But that's what I think what makes House so intriguing and challenging is, you know, he'll be like, I don't want to be worshipped like a god. I don't want, you know, I don't want to mandate what people do in their private time. You know, he has, and also just in this, a lot be my projecting my neurodivergence onto him, is I believe his word. Somebody would have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I do not think that there is a point in New Vegas where he outright lied. He will withhold facts strategically. Absolutely. But he will tell you he's doing that. Like, he will say, you don't need to know that right now. I can't think of a single time when he has lied. The only thing I can think of that could be arguably a lie is when he kisses the courier's ass and is like, you and I are of a different stripe. I'm like, you're just kissing his ass. That's just a manipulation. You haven't known him long enough to have an opinion about what stripe he is. You're just buttering him up. But other than that, I'm pretty sure he never lies. Neurospicy attention versus coordination versus the melting point of wanting to use all your own content. Yeah, I guess I kind of touched on that with, like, the transformative thing. I do not want to just generate shit and slap it in the video. There's always an element of human intention with everything that I use. I watch you, TKS Mantis, Juicehead, and Epic Nate for Fallout stuff. Really? That's some strong company. I also watch... do I still watch Epic Nate? I definitely know the name. but I don't know if he's still in my circulation. Because did I make a joke about this on stream? I said something about, it seems like a lot of YouTube Fallout creators are kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for video concepts. Like, oh yeah, what if all the ghouls wore tiny hats? What if all the ghouls, how would that have affected lore if all the ghouls were wearing tiny hats? Oh wow, the text in this thing is very small. I just was noticing the text in the chat that's on screen. So when Yes Man got his upgrade to be more assertive, he turned into you. Yeah, I guess. The NCR being more important than what it was when it was around in force. It had to grow past its pre-war limitations and framework. I'm actually wondering if the next season of the TV show we're going to get introduced to the problems of the NCR. Because season 2 definitely played them up as like the future, and this is our hope. Our last hope is the NCR. And really setting up that Maximus is going to be loyal to them, because he's a bumbling bottom. He's got to find his new toxic top. And I'm wondering if we're going to get into, like, I'm almost wondering if the show should end with every bit of hope blowing up and them all just walking into the desert going, up, well, until next time. And we just don't know, like, what they're going to do next. But they all leave together. So when are you, the situation with the billionaire and the wealth gap was built over decades in the US. There isn't a quick fix. It really started, yeah. So when are you running for president? When am I running for president? Never. Because I can't be a politician in this social ecosystem. I can't help if I can't be honest. I'm actually like a friend of mine who's very, very activism-y and social justice-y oriented, really struggles because she really wants to, be honest, but anything that she could say, it's you have to be strategically full of shit to be a politician. And it's a shame, because if I didn't feel like I had to lie and manipulate to do it, I think I'd be really good at it. Because I'm really, I genuinely give a shit about everybody. I'm a really good public speaker. I'm really articulate. But I'm a fucking dyke gamer that cusses and lives in my buddy's basement. Who's gonna vote for me? The more I watch your vids lives, would make me more paranoid that I'm in the Matrix and you're an augment of my imagination, and just saying all the stuff in my head I can't get out. It could be an autistic thing. This happens a lot with autistic people. It's like you've never heard anybody else say these thoughts, and then like, is Midnight Whimsy still here? Because that is also an example of a friend of mine who, like, you're saying thoughts that were in my head. No, you're saying thoughts that were in my head. Nywall is also another content creator who does a lot of creative Fallout content, most of it live action with costume. Yes, I met him. There's a picture of me and him on the Fallout wiki thing. That was cool because, the weird thing about Fallout Fan Celebration is that, we play these games by ourselves. We're nerds, and then we get on YouTube and we watch this content, and like, it can be very kind of isolating, just us and our screens. And so you don't really have a good sense of who else is watching the same stuff you are. I mean, you see the numbers, but like, there's sort of like a weird illusion of privacy or something when you're watching these videos being like, oh, this is just the stuff that I watch. So when going to Fallout Fan Celebration and I saw Nywall and I was like, it's the guy who does the sketches, the Fallout sketches. And then my friend, Atlas, was there. He's like, we got to get a picture of Nywall with one of the prop guns from Atlas Omnicorp. And, I was like, oh, everybody else also knows who that guy is. And he got kind of, rushed. He was like a star. And that just like tripped me out that like this thing that I'm watching that none of my friends would care about or know about. Now I'm at a place where this thing that I watch is famous and everybody else watches it too. It'd be cool to be one of those people, I think I have to get famous to have friends, or because I don't break the ice. People have to come to me because I won't talk to anybody else. Yeah, somebody else I got to see quite a few times that I was excited to see was Vault Nostalgia on Instagram. I guess he has a YouTube channel too, but it's silly, more lighthearted content, and that's the kind of thing that I'm, I guess, veering into. And I could make shorts that would help. Um, but much better. I'm thankful for what you are doing, putting yourself out there, and not just being another basic Fallout channel. I was talking to a friend of mine recently about this and how, I was talking about this earlier, the balancing act between, I want to be authentic, but I don't want to be self-indulgent. Like, I do want to hit that space in the middle where I'm making content for you, but not making content for you that I can't maintain, or that, so I'm building me and building this channel and this relationship with all of you at the same time. Midnight Whimsy says here, hi! But yes, is a very good example. So Runa, that's another one, another person that thinks like us. Yeah, he's got some good stuff. Lost my mind when he did an Elder Scrolls parody. And sometimes I see really good sketches. I'm so excited for you, but I'm really excited about doing the Machinima thing. We're doing it with all our characters in power armor because it occurred to me that it'd be easy to do the red versus blue thing because you don't have to worry about lip flap and mouths moving because of the power armor. And also, if our audio quality is different, I can like slap that sort of power armor, not the TV show power armor voice filter, but because I don't know, that was a plot device. But like sort of the phone filter. So we all sound like Paladin Dance, Paladin Dance, aka Buzz Lightyear. Has anyone turned Paladin Dance into Buzz Lightyear in a mod? I want to see that because he reminds me of Buzz Lightyear so much. Politicians. We don't see change because an elected official who does make compromises will win, and one who does not will not, including moral compromise. You made a video on it. Yes! Poor Congresswoman Diane Welch. God rest the rest of her body that isn't her head. I'm sure you'll get there one day. It takes effort and consistency, just a little bit every day. Exactly! Exactly! That's the plan. For short idea. Yes, man hates these 7 things, and then it's just saying no 7. It's just saying no 7 different ways. Maybe I'll change my framing so I can wear my Yes Man shirt in another video. Because the reason I haven't worn it is because the face is like this low. But that's the one Fallout shirt that I haven't worn yet. Buzz Lightyear, they have and made Preston into Woody. Did they really? Did they really? Oh my god, how have I not seen that, really? That was just my brain. And you include your fans in the background, make us wear bandana masks. Ah! Is that like a good fundraiser idea? Well, that's gonna get tricky because of that. The sketch stuff is gonna be on the Atlas channel, and so there's gonna have to be like some clarification of what's, this is non-fiction. Lindsay's Fallout is like Lindsay commentary, and anything that's fiction is gonna go over there. But if you haven't yet, subscribe to Atlas Omnicorp. I believe I put the link in the description of most videos, but I'll just type it in chat. Atlas Omnicorp. Okay, I am due, I think, for a break. I had this Soylent here sitting here this whole time, and it's like not cold anymore. But I love giving you guys a thing to think about and to chat with me about when I come back. So I guess I'm just really still in this headspace of just like fun topics. Still open to things that should be behind that Yes Man thumbnail because it's really funny. It would be great if we came up with something in this and then you guys saw it next week and you saw the thumb and you're like, oh my god, she actually did it. So how is it something that, because the idea is this thumbnail is yes man for no reason, and because of that there can't be a reason for it to be yes man. It has to be like something that's not like a betrayal, but the less it has to do with yes man the better. And as always, you know, questions for me, anything that you're curious, I want to know what you are curious about that is in my brain. Your curiosity is my life blood, my fuel. So feed me, Seymour. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. and I thought of like a million things that I wanted to talk about. Um, so, which is of course why I lost my food. No, but this is funny to mention. So, uh, thank God that like right before the break, I had told y'all that my toilet wasn't cold anymore. So of course it was in the fridge. That's where it was. But the reason that's especially funny is because it's sort of like an ADHD joke. I don't know how many of y'all have ADHD, but probably a lot of you. That it's really common to like when you lose your keys and shit like that to leave them in the fridge. And actually, when I had the neurodivergence coaching channel, I had put I had like a meme on my Instagram that had a joke being like, "Hey, ADHDers, that thing you're looking for, don't be ashamed to check the fridge." And what's funny is this time it really was in the fridge, but because I put it there on purpose. So that was thought number one I want to say. Thought number two that I wanted to say, the cough. So that was a funny neurodivergent journey as well, right? So when I walked away, and I looked back at the computer and I saw that there was like a spike in the mic readings, and that's how I saw that I had forgotten to turn the mic off. And I didn't even know that I had coughed. I seriously didn't know until I looked at chat and you guys were like, "Oh, did you breathe wrong or something?" And I was like, "Did I cough just now?" And that's really telling about how often I have breathing malfunctions that I don't even like notice are happening. So a buddy of mine, Kiwi, I'll just go ahead and call him out. He might be around. He comes through sometimes. He had mentioned to me something about neurodivergence and anxiety and like forgetting to breathe. And I listened to that and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I had that problem." Until I thought about it afterwards and I caught myself literally forgetting to breathe like often and seeing how that's impacted my sleep and how it's impacted my health and my anxiety. And when I start catching, because you know something about this world and also the autistic brain is when we feel bad, we immediately start intellectualizing it. We immediately start going like, what's stressing me out? What mistakes did I make? What projects am I working on? When we need to get more in touch with our bodies. Like it's a very important work. Like, so feelings are felt, you know? And we're not educated to do that. That's not what, you know, you're supposed to go to therapy when you have emotional problems. Like we don't have a strong cultural permeated understanding of how closely our bodies are. Like, ideally when I'm doing these streams, like what my body wants to do is get up and not sit the whole time and get up over and over and over again. Which is why now I just lit some incense to get more dopamine. I got my little fume stick. It's like a strong menthol flavor. It is not a vape. To sort of get my brain the stimulation that it needs. But probably ideal scenario would be I'd have like a wider shot and I would like stand up and sit down over and over again. But I put this in one of my articles once I was talking about, I have a second chair. It's over there that I switch, and that chair is uncomfortable on purpose because I can't and won't sit in it for very long, and it kind of forces me. Unfortunately, it was a little too much strain, so I've been on a break from that chair for a while, but ADHD problems. So now that I wanted to go on that rant and breathe, I wanted to fucking brainstorm more. Let me see what happened in chat, because I love talking for a long time, but I like streaming, and this is my favorite part of my week because my favorite thing to do is to bounce thoughts off of y'all. Accents in Fallout. How the fuck did you have more? And I was gonna hear it out as a play. Yes! I thought about that so much! Oh my god, is that our winner? I love that you brought that up because I have thought about it. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm gonna write that down. Maybe that is our answer. That is, and you're right, Faye June. You said that would be something that would go great under the Yes Man thumbnail. That's exactly the kind of. Is this what we're doing this week? I'll have to see how hard that, like, how much research I feel like that asks of me. That's another thing. So like whatever it is that we do, it has to be stuff that I can record on Wednesday and edit on Thursday And yeah, I don't remember if I finished that thought when I was talking about that. So it has to be something that I can just sit down and rip. So like nothing like I do eventually want to do research videos again, but that's for the Dinztopia channel. Lindsay's Fallout is just me ranting about my special interest, whatever about my special interest that I want to talk about that week. And it's got to be fun and interesting, thoughtful, um you know, theme, you know, world issue stuff absolutely is a big part of it, but we gotta go back and forth though. We're figuring this out. We are we're a team. We're the Feral Cools. Um so the accents and Kate is another one. The Irish accent and international travel. And I honestly, and this is something that maybe I'll talk about if I end up picking this as a video topic, is okay, I love that Fallout London exists. And this is another thing that could be a whole branch of another topic is you know, people are so worried about how 76 is going to influence the franchise, and if it makes too much money that the things that we love about Fallout are going to go away. But I think that I've never been that worried about that because I know that the fandom will always be creating. Like, we're making games. Like, Fallout London is a game in Fallout 4. Like, if we don't like what Bethesda does, we can make shit together. And I would love to be a part of something like these massive mod projects. I would love to be a part of that. Something I've thought about a lot is doing videography and photography, the location photography that I love doing so much of these mods, these people. Like I'm fascinated by. The only thing, I'm nervous about wrecking my game files and stuff. And I have Mod Organizer, but autistic brain struggles to pivot, and we can stick a lot of things in these games, and it's a lot modding. But I love the idea of like doing photography of stuff for these kind of things. But anyway, going back to the accent thing, but beyond fan made, we're making games inside games kind of stuff. I would really prefer the Fallout proper to stay in America, because it's such a big commentary on very American things. It's a very American franchise story context. You know, like on the show, she's always talking about how Vault-Tec is there for America. America is a big thing about Fallout. Americana. And I also, I like the idea that we don't know what the fuck is going on everywhere else. I love that. There's no internet, we can't check in, we can't talk to people. Like, I love the idea that we could joke that the rest of the world might be fine, and everybody was just so mad at America. Like, everybody bombed America, and that was it. And we're on our own, and nobody's helping us. That would be fucking hilarious. I love keeping that up, and I'm not saying I would take it seriously as lore, but I love the idea of nothing happening to break that possibility. And so, even though I love that Fallout London exists, I think that kind of stuff should be fan-made, and I don't think the franchise should leave. And when people are fucking have accents in the fucking bar, or in the combat zone, like, I get why they would want to do it for, like, representation and stuff, because, you know, it's not just Americans that are playing the game, but I don't like that it ruins the isolation that we could have as a nation that didn't play nice with others. You know what I mean? Does anybody know what I mean? I have a story for the Soul Survivor that is like the reason that they make the settlements and join the Minutemen is to make life better for Sean when they find him. Aww. Thor actually shotgun fathered the second he walked in the room and didn't learn he was my son at all. Okay, that makes me laugh so hard because oh my god, Fallout has therapy through Fallout could also be like a topic of just the things that I learned about myself and my brain from playing these games. Like, there are things in these games that I think aren't optional, that I feel like the game ported me to do these things, and that I didn't really have many real options. And then I will hear how other people play these games, and I will be proven wrong. And maybe that's one of the reasons I was so moved to talk about the idea of programming, and why that has come up so often. And it is a situation that is compounded with the way the autistic brain works. Uh, we tend to see life through like a narrow tunnel, but it doesn't necessarily have to make us quote unquote narrow-minded, because that tunnel could be super long and wind all these different directions, but it's still a tunnel. Like, we have to go through that tubing. So, sometimes you just don't know you're in a tube. Like, you have options that you don't think are available to you. And you don't feel like you have a choice when you do. And so there will be things in Fallout where, like, literally, like, the dialogue options will come up and I'm like, well, that's the only one that would make me not an asshole, so I'm gonna pick that. You know? And then there's people who walk in the room and will just shoot father before talking to him. Like, I'm just like, there's always another way. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the stream as it's live right now, and the latency is a lot better now. I'm sure the quality is lower, but I think I'm seeing chat a lot faster. And for this kind of a stream where there's not like crazy graphics, it's like, it's fine, right? Like, support the accents comment for, oh, I think Tenpenny was mentioned in London Mod, or if I'm misremembering, I haven't really played it. If you had to focus on making your heart beat, you would die. Oh yeah! Did I say that? It sounds like something I would say, I just don't remember when. And I rewatch my videos like a psychopath. I was watching this, like, this advice for, like, YouTubers, and they were like, okay, so once the video's live, there's gonna be a temptation to go click and want to watch it in the YouTube window, but don't do that. And the reason you don't want to do that is because you're probably not gonna watch the entire thing, and if, there's not, like, a full, that will hurt the promotion of the video if, the views don't go through the whole thing. And I was like, ha, clearly you've never met me. I will watch my own videos on loop over and over again. I don't know exactly why. It feels very neurochemical. It's not like conscious. It's not like I'm sitting there like analyzing and critiquing myself. That's not what's happening. But it feels like my brain is doing some sort of background processing of how the video is going, how I feel about it, whether or not I hit the beats. Like, earlier when I was talking about, like, how I have a lot of precision about what music I use and where I use it and what emotions it's carrying, that is what my brain is processing when I'm watching my own videos. Speaking of which, seeing if jokes land as an example. Everybody be honest, there's 28 viewers here. I don't know, I know there's some people that will never chat ever, no matter what, but if you watched yesterday's video, this week's video, did the anal joke at the beginning land or not? Be honest. If you're the kind of person that you just don't do crude jokes, then maybe your opinion doesn't really matter, because I knew I wasn't going to win you guys over. But for people who normally like crude jokes, I just, like, in my whole, studying, rewatching my own videos thing, I just could not get past the feeling of, that joke not landing. I feel like I wasted it. It kind of feels the other Murray Monster account right when Fallout. Oh yeah, that was a thing that if I made like more short, timely content that I would have talked about at the time was, I think this is something I've said in my videos before. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. That's like a personal mantra of mine. And did Bethesda have the right to do whatever they want to do with their own game and update it whenever they want? And did they have any duty or, to inform the modding community that they were doing this? Sure. But everybody knew about Fallout London. Everyone knew that that was a thing that was being worked on and it was getting hyped. And there's no way that people at Bethesda didn't know. It was just inconsiderate not to give a warning to just other human beings. Like, yes, you're Bethesda, it's your property, and you're on a mountain, and you can do whatever you want, and you're under no obligation. But just because there's, and this goes back to how I talk about moral and ethics a lot. What are the consequences to real thinking, feeling people about what you're about to do? And if you are aware of that impact, that potential negative impact, and you don't do anything because you're looking at your rights instead of your impact, that sucks. That whole situation is a perfect example of the argument I was trying to make in that video. Miss Jericho 2 was getting good. It was like a show. Oh, I didn't watch that. It came up immediately after I posted my first video and I laughed twice because jokes on them. I watched it through twice. Haha, oh my god! Yeah, I guess it's a specific enough topic. It's probably safe to say we were watching the same one. From my PC, I don't full screen anything that's not a movie, TV show, or game. To be fair, the Institute only ever brought fear, misery, and missing people to the Commonwealth. Shotgunning father on site is kind of based. Based, that's new lingo for me. Based reminds me that I'm 40. It rear-ended me. I'm assuming you're referring to the anal joke. I think I missed the last season of Jericho due to life chaos, being mad at cancellation. Keep meaning to go back. I'm sorry, I'm just not a crude joke person. Okay. I didn't realize... Thank you for your honesty. I didn't realize it was a joke. I took it at face value. I would have... I mean, I guess it wasn't a joke as much as it was a statement made. It wasn't technically a joke in the sense that it didn't have a setup and a punchline. That's my autistic accuracy speaking. But it was intended to be a funny comparison. Oh my god, you had to be rolling with the unexpected boldness of that joke. Yay! It would have been nice if they had. Okay, it landed. Z commented on it saying it was an analogy I would not have thought of. Yeah! I think that Kiwi actually commented and messaged me on Discord about it. But he's also a crude joke person, so probably an easy sell. I'm just thinking about the thing that I did, that made him laugh the hardest. I don't no idea when or how we're gonna do this. Maybe Atlas Omnicorp, if he ends up bringing any Cyberpunk 2077 stuff to his shop. But I have a shorts series idea that I have written a bunch of stuff for. And this is the Cyberpunk thing, so if you don't know Cyberpunk, you won't know. But if you have played Phantom Liberty in Cyberpunk, you are aware that the dictator, the head of Dogtown, is a man by the name of Kurt Hansen. And he does announcements, and you can hear them, like, it's on a loading screen, like, while you're playing, when you get to that part of the game, when you, load a save, it will show, like, Dogtown and his picture in the thing, and it'll be like, attention Dogtown citizens, this is Kurt Hansen. You can probably see where this is going. So, I, started writing a bunch of Kurt Hansen announcements, and I'm just gonna share one of them with you now. Because Kurt Hansen is a douchebag. And he sounds like a douchebag. And so, basically what we started calling these is, like... Because I wanted to have, like, a hook at the beginning of the video so people know what they're about to see is not really a clip from the game. Like, so you know, kind of to warn you a joke is coming and to stay and listen to it. Is that instead of saying, attention Dogtown citizens, he'll say, attention Dogtown dipshits. So that's kind of, we called them Kurt Hansen things for a while, and now, like, kind of the name of the series that who knows when it'll ever happen is called Attention Dogtown Dipshits. So the, and this will not have any game spoilers because this is silly shit. Can't believe I'm looking this up right now. This is ridiculous. Okay, so if you're familiar with the style of Kurt Hansen announcements, you will... And trigger warning, this is crude humor again, because that's literally the topic. So, attention Dogtown dipshits, this is Kurt Hansen. To whoever posted that shit on the subnet, no, you did not see me pull out a wedgie. I was pulling my massive cock out of my ass crack. You'd know what that's like if you weren't a micro-dicked turd gobbler. And yes, I did have the clap once, but that's because Kurt Hansen fucks. I cleared that shit up with an air hypo, and the rest of you damn well know you're all diseased. Eat my ass, fart knockers. So that is, your sneak preview of Attention Dogtown Dipshits. So the part of that my friend got attached to and now quotes and brings up regular is just Kurt Hansen fucks. But yeah, someday. Trying to figure out how to work it into conversation, but have yet to figure out where. The anal, like, I'm 47 and adapting. Hang in there. Joke with no punchline. You ever wonder? You know, you finding, it's almost like you laughing at it is the punchline. My use of joke was maybe not the best word analogy, but bad nutshell attempt to convey. Kurt Hansen is such a jerk. And you know, there's obviously, no, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. And like, we can see, like, if it actually went on long enough, like, shirts that say Kurt Hansen fucks. Your joke had me smirking for the rest of the day. Okay. So, did I have anything else? I feel like a minute ago I had like 500 topics that I wanted to talk about. Love crude and dark humor and have some just a bit too much of the internet, what some people can do with their own body parts. You know, the thing is, the Kurt, like, if I just, like, was listening to something, like, out of context of, like, what I just said, it's just crude and it doesn't really go anywhere and it's not that funny. What's funny is if you picture it in the game, like, if you, like, with his face and the scenery, it's the context is really what's gonna make that funnier. I don't know what it was about that Kurt Hansen load screen thing. I just wanted to hear him say ridiculous things so bad. I hope that accent topic isn't. And my buddy, actually, Kiwi, who I keep mentioning a lot on this stream, sent me a bunch of Fallout 4 saves. So maybe I could record any other characters that you guys can think of that have accents or that are suggested as not being in not being American. Spam the chat because this is a funny concept. I love the idea of doing this yes man thumb thing because then people come in being like, well, I can just be like, I'm just fucking around with the algorithm. I just want to see what happens if I do this. I'm not getting any views. I have nothing to lose. My feral cools will be there. And I love when you guys, like, play along with stuff. Like, when I did the Nuka Grape is better than Sunset Sarsaparilla. I just, like, oh, yeah, and that was another thing that, you know, people would see that kind of stuff and go, oh, it's engagement bait. And I'm like, well, technically, but not, like, to get views or to make money, but literally just having fun with people. Like, I feel really confident about that line. You know, like, the AI line, I get all confused and up in my head about it, but, like, what I feel like is manipulative clickbaity versus what I feel like is just toying around with y'all. I feel like I'm pretty confident about where I sit there. Yeah, the Bobrov. Didn't he mention that in that initial list? Okay, I'm gonna open this up. So definitely the Bobrov brothers. And definitely Kate. I mean, Raul from New Vegas would technically count, right? Melissa the Aussie con from New Vegas. I don't think I have any Raoul saves. God, that's embarrassing. This is... Was that you, Fei Jun, that was like, this is a good, um, topic for the Yes Man thing? It's so random. No, I'm just thinking about a joke that's like, yeah, I asked Yes Man if I could use his image for this thumbnail, and he didn't mind. Dashwood? Oh yeah, that's Fallout 3. Is he still alive? Wait, is that story that I haven't gotten into yet? Sometimes it makes you envy people that don't see pictures in their heads or hear other people saying narrating things. Seeing a pic of Morgan Freeman, yeah! I loved that Morgan Freeman meme thing. That was like that was a cultural phenomenon. Oh my god, yeah! The Oh, the fisherman in Far Harbor. For some reason, at first I was thinking in 76. But I was like, yeah, but that's only 25 years. It's been 25 years for the past 10 years. God damn it! The concept of 76 is such nonsense. It's nonsense. Why did they try to put an online game on a timeline? There are people that have been overindulging after Reclamation Day for 8 years. The worst idea. I can't... Like, if people don't play 76 for that alone, I'm like, I understand. It makes me mad every time I think about it. It's the most ridiculous concept. It's like I thought about the release day and they didn't think about anything else. Please tell me at Bethesda there were huge arguments about that, because please tell me that people didn't go down without a fight. People with any sense whatsoever. And I hate grape flavored soda, yet I still made the comment. Yeah, I actually really loved the people who were like, I'm not going to say it because it's not true. Like, I was like, I respect that. But you can see what I was kind of trying to do with that. I was like, what is a statement that is outlandish that nobody would think, that nobody would really believe? But if a bunch of people say it in the comments, people would look at it and be like, what the fuck? Why is everybody saying that? That's sort of the similar kind of sense of humor that we were trying to land on with this Yes Man thing. It's like fucking with people in like a little way, just a little bit. Not anything that matters. They should do a thing in 76 where the Master was taking over psychically. I thought they were with the Brotherhood timeline about mutants, but they were just... I think that they should have done the VR thing, like from Fallout 3, and New Vegas also had them. Like, the idea that, we have vaults where there is experiments, and then we have vaults where people are in cryogenic blah blah blah. Why not a vault full of people in a VR system? And then the fans could have speculated and made guesses about where we are. Like you could, and you would have an excuse with the Atom Shop that you could bring in anything from any game, because we don't know where we are on the timeline or how long we've been in the system and how many people are in there. Like, we could be investigating the simulation from inside the simulation. And it would explain why we die and come back, too. They kind of played with that idea in the Chad 76 podcast, that it's all simulation. I think it's actually, like, a popular fan theory. They should have just made that the thing and had us not know where we are. And then it could have gone on forever, and they could have had a justification for any Atom Shop bullshit that they wanted. And there wouldn't have been the complicated issue of how are our choices affecting the lore. Well, if we were in a VR system, nobody would expect that. But they can't make our choices affect lore. They can't do the Fallout thing. It's like... It would have been such a good idea. and they did this terrible idea, and that's the game now. That's it. We have to live with it. That's the game. That's the game. It's a simulation in my head. It's my headcanon. I Oh, the Chinese sub-captain. Yes, yes, yes. The Yangtze captain. But I guess that has an explanation because, like, he was from China before the bombs. He's on the list because, you know, we're brainstorming, but we're really looking for, like, the people who were born way post-war, not in America, and got over here somehow. Those are the people that have big fucking question marks over her heads. What about the Nakano parents? Did they have accents? In Far Harbor? Did they have Japanese accents? I seem to remember that they did. I bet if we really stop and think about it, there's a lot. Like, I don't feel like hearing accents is an unusual thing in a Fallout game. Ghouls in general are going to be a little trickier because of they could have been born overseas before the war. Kenji did, yeah. Good thing to support the theory that Fallout 76 is a simulation is that in the early game, everything was presented through robots and audio recordings and have a lot of, yeah, there were robots everywhere. I need to take off. Have a good night. Good to see you, Carbal Snarky. Have a good night. Thank you for coming. I just played Far Harbor today. I haven't finished it yet. Oh yeah. That might be the video that I should do next week, honestly, is the next Far Harbor, because yeah. I let that sit there for a long fucking time. Maybe that's a good cool off project too. And I hate that it's like unfinished. It's just sitting there, unfinished business. I'll sneak up on you guys with the yes man thing. You won't know when it's coming. Yes, Desmond Lockhart has made the list. I wonder if Blubbin could rattle off a bunch of names. Like, isn't it interesting that every time we do a quest for them, it's an upgrade of equipment or some sort of test that was being run? Yeah. I mean, you could explain everything with the simulation thing. I just, like... Who had the idea that it was going to be Reclamation Day for all time? Like, who... And also, that setup doesn't explain why there's, like, always new people from 76 appearing. Like, everybody overindulged at different intervals is the worst idea! Man, is that a video for me to just be like... I love 76, but can I go on a rant for a second of everything about this concept that was a bad idea? I don't want to be negative. It's like the White Spring thing. It's like, there's something kind of funny about when I'm, like, talking about stuff I hate or think is ugly or bad. There's something, like the astonishment that I had that people would spend money to go to the White Spring. There's something about that that's really funny, and for some reason, it strikes me as not mean and not negative, weirdly. The Norwegian Raiders on Fallout 4. Norwegian? There were Norwegian? What? Man. A whole boat of them. Jonathan, he say, just had a chem-inspired thought. What if the ascents came from the different surviving robots, like the Mr. Handys and Fistos? The ascents? Am I losing it? Do I not know what that is? I'm having a brain fart. The goal in the latest update could just be recordings that they have from his movies combined with reports of his actions above. Yeah, totally. Good catch. Some weren't ghouls either, so they, like, passed the language on. Yeah, I feel like I read that and then my brain fixed it. They were a crew from Norway who happened to be in Boston when the bombs dropped. USSR North Star near Warwick had the Norwegians. Lynn's feeling bad about Far Harbor. I know I got there once upon a time, but being a chicken shit and life chaos, I never got any of it. Just watched late hubby play it more than once. Yeah, I got stuck, where I had to make, like, a moral decision and I didn't like any of my options. I need to, like, it was, God, that happens so much. And, I'm also playing Disco Elysium, and that game really confronts me with my, playing it safe, or the things that my brain says are playing it safe. That's the weird thing about my life, is there's all these, like, little rules in my little autistic tunnel that I'm like, nope, can't break that rule, can't do that. This is keeping me safe, and yet I will always end up, like, constantly in danger in bad situations. So, like, whatever I'm tuned to isn't working. It's not actually keeping me safe. So I have these ideas of, like, oh no, you can't do that, but you can do this really stupid thing over there. Like, why am I more afraid of, like, I don't want to go into detail about that. Maybe that's, more information than any of you need. A lot of the servant robots do have different accents. That could explain it too. Oh, like the accent, like the robots teaching kids to talk with accents. English butler robots, French maids and nurse robots, Irish mechanic robots, arguably racist robots. And it is very unclear which robots are conscious and which robots should have rights. Gotta head off. Thanks for thank you for coming. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're the best. Maybe we've exhausted this topic. Let's move on to other silly ideas. I just feel like I need, like, a bigger bucket. It's like wide open spaces. There's so many things I could do. And I know my anchor point is I love shooting locations. I want to do more shooting footage in games. And, like, emphasizing shooting footage in the games, de-emphasizing research and fact-checking. Because that's the biggest, like, energy suck. And once I start going that direction, I become a perfectionist because I don't want to get anything wrong. And if I do get something wrong, I'll hear it in the comments 10,000 times, and y'all know how I feel about that. So if it's, you know, me talking off the cuff and I'm recording locations, that's when I'm going to be the happiest. And I guess we could expand that to recording quests. Like little mini stories. But not like character profiles, because that will cross the line into research. But like a quest, I mean, that's how Oxhorn does it, right? You know, he just plays the game and records and talks while he goes. You know, but he did the right thing by, like, isolating quests. Because then he could, like, record and talk and keep it linear, and he created this really efficient workflow. That's a big part of his success, in my opinion. So we have to keep things linear. So, like, the Far Harbor playthrough thing videos, which are actually entertaining. If you haven't watched them, you should. They're, because I suck all the air out. It's not just, like, a playthrough. Like, it's an edit. They're all edits. In case you didn't know that. Now you do. Basically what I do is when I'm playing the game, I turn off, like, almost all sound effects, and I turn off the music, so it's just my voice and the characters. And then when I bring it into Premiere, I use a silence remover. to get rid of all the empty dead space between the dialogue, so it just sucks it all together, so it's just ADHD friendly. Hey, thank you for coming to a live. No, I'm not. First time catching a live. Thank you. I love that you love my videos. Thank you for coming. I love who they picked for the show canon voice for Mr. Gutsy. I know! But part of me that wishes voice actors get to play themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's I had the similar thought. And also, you never know if, like, the voice actors would want to do that. Like, sometimes it's like, no, I'm a voice actor. I don't want to be a... Like, film sets are exhausting. They are every kind of tired. I learned new levels and depths of the conscious human experience of exhaustion on film sets. It's one of the reasons why I couldn't live my dream and be a film director. I just couldn't do it. I definitely like directing or first AD the most. Being a PA though, I wanted to blow my brains out. I would hate being an actor. I love everything. I love acting, but I hate everything else about being an actor. Interesting that you've mentioned Disco Elysium a bit, so you have me curious, intrigued about it, yet I haven't looked it up yet. Oh, yeah, Disco Elysium is important. As an important video game, I would use that extreme a word. And I haven't finished it yet because it frustrates me, and it makes me think about a lot of insecurities, but that's exactly what's so great about it. That's like what Disco Elysium does. Disco Elysium makes you look at yourself in a way that is very uncomfortable. And everyone says that, and you watch a million YouTube videos about it, and then you experience it, and you're like, oh. It's like when I heard the YouTubers saying stuff like that, like, oh, Disco Elysium makes you, like, confront yourself. And you're like, yeah, sure it does. You know? And then, like, I just, like, I guess I kind of, like, was doing my holistic autistic translation when I heard people say that. And then when I actually played the game, I like, found myself thinking, like, man, this game is really making me uncomfortable because it's making me confront things about myself as if I came up with that idea first. And I didn't hear, like, a million YouTubers say that exact same thing. I'm like, no, but I didn't know they meant it when they said that. I mean it. Oh, no, maybe people do mean it things sometimes. Maybe, like, I'm projecting this assumption that everybody's lying all the time because of autistic trauma. I was trying not to bring Ox into any of your topics, mentions, and suggestions because I know you don't want to copy him, but you also want to share your love for the locals, not just a copy of him. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if I was doing content just like his exact format, it would still be totally different from his content because our personalities are so different. Like, if I just talked about quests and did quests from top to bottom, which is what he does, but it was my personality doing it, it would be a totally different kind of video. Not that I'm going to do that. I'm just not sure if it's not that I'm not interested in it. It's that, like, I'm sort of a completionist, and that's what was the problem with, like, Lindsay's Fallout 4, is if I only do one quest, then I feel like I do quests now, and now I have to do all the quests. You know? It's like, I feel like if I give money to like one houseless person on the street, then I feel like that I'm being unjust to every single other one because I can't give money to all of them. It's totally autistic brain processing shit. It's hilariously autistic. But I feel like I need to, it's sort of like the same thing brain process that made me do like the house rules as well, is like I'm thinking, what's the parameters of why I'm doing this quest and not another quest? Are they my favorite quests? Is that the gimmick? Is it we're doing my favorite quest? Are we doing the quests that are on this quest chain, the main story of Fallout 4? Like, what are the parameters? And like, as soon as for the TV show season 2, as soon as I started doing videos every week, I was like, okay, apparently I'm doing a video for every episode. Apparently that's the parameters have sort of organically formed. And so I just stuck to that. We kind of went through this with the location video today, right? I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do a video about locations, which locations? The ones that I took pictures of on the that had my favorite pictures. You know, I had to draw some sort of parameter, some sort of defining. And also that's good that my brain is doing that because that's good to package the topic of a video with, you know? It's good to market and be like, this is what this is. That's a sentence. I guess you could pick some of the morally trickier. That's a good parameter. Has that been done though? Like, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's kind of like the Oxhorn thing, even if it has been done before. A big part of what I do is my personality, and nobody else has it but me. I really wrote this as forkiest Fallout quests. Morally speaking. Hmm. I guess you could move to the places needed. Nor okay, I can sympathize with you, Linz, on levels of once wanting to act live or voice. Also, bachelor's, yeah, animation degree downgraded to an associate's graphic design. Because yeah, you mentioned that before. I feel like kind of like a jerk that that information hasn't stuck that you were a graphic designer. Because I feel like you've said it enough times. I should remember. Um. Just get a piece of paper to prove my time is now worthless duty. Yeah. Did we talk about this with my degrees too? Don't play the Minutemen path. Their endgame quests never ends. Another settlement needs our help. Shut the fuck up. College being sued for predatory practices. So skills plus nerve spicy, but no place for yeah. Relatable. Watching your stuff and enjoying it is why I threw all of those super chats at you. Yes! Thank you. Thank you for the money that I need for capitalism. Time for me to bow. Oh, good night. Thank you for coming, Fei Jun. Have a good night. Thank you and good night. Yeah, this faster latency is working a lot better, isn't it? That was like a long, awkward pause. Did my brain stop generating ideas? What's happening? I don't expect you to remember all my random details. Yeah, but you're always here, though. You're like a... You're like a regular cast member. I'm a daily 76 player and was happy to hear you play it as well. It takes a lot of heat and it's not perfect, but I love it. Recently started a ghoul character. Yeah! Your main level is 1100? Dude, I was gonna shout out to somebody who was like a level 740 something, and I was like, wow. Man, that's I can't imagine that. Like I play that game often and I'm like 110. I have so many questions. God, that much leveling. Can I just like throw questions at you? Like, how could you are you still getting perk cards? Well, I guess if you at that level and you get that many perk cards, you would just turn them into legendary perk coins, right? Like you must have so many so many perk cards. How many perk cards even exist? Do you have trouble with the raid for the giant snake? I'm stuck with that one. Ah. 32 what? Max level in 76 is 32,007. Like that's as high as you can get? Are you going for it? I guess that would take a few years. What's the highest level anyone's ever got? Do you know? Also, usual apologies for throwing my random shit out here. They're only meant for potential proper context and not bragging in the typical neurospin. I'm laughing at just all the autism that's happening now. I'm gonna talk a lot, and then I'm gonna talk some more about how I'm talking a lot. Do you see that? You're digging deeper and deeper in. Like, almost everything you say, you add like one more level of nervous. Like, you could have just left that first thought and there was nothing wrong with it, but then you start explaining, and then you start explaining the explanation. That's a monotropic tunnel. You can stop digging, it's fine. Yes, you still get perk points and perk packs, but eventually you have everything. Yeah, like, there comes a point in time where my brain can't process any more perk cards. The ghoulification did help with that, though. Because, now I'm like, okay, I'll just see what the new ghoul cards are. But I just feel like, because I can't get any more numbers into my special stats than I already have, I have this loadout. I don't want to, like... I love that I can switch out the cards. There are things I really like about the perk card system. The only thing I don't like about it is that I'm just like, how many of these cards do I need? Like, if I'm not gonna get any more numbers in my special stats, which I can see why they wouldn't want that, because that's a part of the challenge, is you have these cards and you have this loadout, you can put the different numbers in, like, that's a part of the game's challenge, is to swap these things around, but I don't want to stop, I don't like stopping and rearranging stuff, I want to build on a new thing, you know? There's too much executive functioning. I mean, there's a sweet spot. Like, there's a thing I really like about Fallout. And I feel like that this is something... Another thing, it's kind of like the locations that nobody talks about. Because I've played other games. I'm not like I haven't played as many, like, mainstream games as I would like. But Fallout is a lot more complicated as far as the amount of numbers and math and the cards and the, you know, worrying about your, I mean, how many things you have to worry about in Fallout? There's, food, water, now with ghoulification, there's chems, and then there's, the feral meter, and then there's, your weapons, repair level, you know what I mean? Not duration, durability, and then there's ammo, and then there's crafting, and then there's perk cards, and then there's buffs, and then there's consumables. There's so much, and in a lot of ways I like that, because I think that, especially for a lot of neurospicy people, a lot of ADHD people, we are the amount of activity that our brains wants to have at any given time is so vast that it's almost like I need a game that has as much shit going on as Fallout to fill up all that space and actually keep me entertained and engaged and not leave any neuron room for my troubles and my woes and my stresses. It's like, you can't really play it. That's one of the reasons I can't stream it, because I'm like, I can't add streaming and chat and stuff on top of all the other things that Fallout makes my brain do. Like, it needs all that hard drive space. And yeah, it's just I'm gonna play other games, they seem like children's games in comparison, you know, like the simplicity. Like, I had a friend that was really into Destiny 2. Maybe we've talked about this before. And while I was playing, I was like, okay, cool, and I like the shooting, and it's fun, and it's I like the world, it's a really cool lore. But oh my god, I'm bored out of my mind. We're just running and shooting and grabbing things, and then you go and you take all the guns that you got, and then you scrap them to get more guns. And new outfits, and that's it. And I'm used to Fallout that has like 10,000 meters, you know? Like, I like that, ooh, gotta check on this. Ooh, caps. I didn't even mention caps or money. And in 76, there's like 5 currencies. Oh my god, Fallout 76 saturates your entire brain. I didn't think I could handle playing something that was like in survival mode, because I'm like, I have enough to worry about not getting killed. I don't have to worry about food and water and stuff. And then once I got in the rhythm of it in 76, I ended up really liking that. Because I liked figuring out how to solve it. I like solving problems. When there's all those little meters, you have to figure out solutions. Like I was excited in this week's video talking about the toxic water thing, because when the ghoulification thing started and I was watching content, I was looking all sorts of like ways to get your glow up. And one of the first videos I saw, this guy, he basically had like a radium rifle that he was like shooting and bouncing off of himself to get his glow back up. And then somebody, and I was like, oh really, I gotta get a radium gun for this? And then somebody in the comments on that video was like, dude, why do you even game, bro? Why are you using the radium rifle and saying that that's the easiest way to get your glow up? Go to West Tech and harvest toxic goo. That's how you get your. And then I was like, well, shit. Now I have to make these like runs to West Tech all the time to collect toxic goo and fight super mutants, and like what an annoying errand. Just have to like stop at West Tech and hoard up on this goo. But whatever. And then I found out that the toxic water that's everywhere around the Toxic Valley and in Burning Springs did the exact same thing. And I was like, why would I put up with West Tech's bullshit when I could literally, and this is what I did, I built a camp on toxic water in Burning Springs. It's the other one, it's Barbaric Yop as opposed to Primate Triumph, which is where I'm kicking it with Beckett and my dog that won't close the gate. I was like, this is fucking great, because then when I have a camp near is activated near the water, I can just hoard a bunch of it, and then when I'm switched to the other camp that's not on the water, I have plenty of toxic water in my storage. I suck at the raids. I can solo the EN06, but the rest is lost on me. Use nukes and dragons build. Oh yeah, I do not know how to, I've never dropped a nuke. This is actually another point of like insecurity, is because I actually was so devoted to it a few weeks ago. I was like, and I just kept getting lost and I couldn't figure out what to do. And then I actually got in one of the discords that I'm in to find somebody who would go in there with me. And somebody actually messaged me like the next day and was like, hey, are you ready to go in? Because I got so dysregulated, I just had to quit. So that stupid something sentimental has been in my quest queue, and it's just sitting there because I still haven't dropped a fucking nuke on Mononga Mine. You want a complex tactical game that will tax every neuron? Play XCOM. Good to know. There's the thing, I like playing games, but I'm really bad at them, and it's really hard for me to learn them. So it's it takes a lot. Like I can't believe I actually got into Disco Elysium, because that's a pretty, for an RPG, I love the back end of Disco Elysium, and what I mean by that is like how the character, you know, perks, I guess you could call them. I don't remember what they're called in Disco Elysium, but the traits that you can put points into, and how your outfits. Okay, in 76, maybe this was always true in 76, but like, a frustration that I had in Fallout 4 was that you would have the clothing items would give you like perks, and then you'd have the armor that would give you like the defensive buffs or defense plus what defense, you know what I mean, words. And then you would end up looking idiotic because you had to like mismatch all this armor that didn't go together, and then you had these cool outfits but you couldn't wear them because you had to choose them or the armor. And I'm like, that's stupid. That means I can never wear the outfits because I'm gonna get hurt and die. So how like, this sucks. And then that mechanic changed in 76, and may have changed in updates of Fallout 4, I don't remember, is you, maybe this didn't change in Fallout 4, but it definitely in 76, you can have armor on, but then have an outfit on also, and just see the outfit and enjoy how cool you look in your outfit, and get the perks of the armor, but it wouldn't change how you look. But anyway, the point is, in Disco Elysium, you play a character who's kind of like a drunk dumbass, and he's not a dumbass. He can't be. He's your character. He can be whatever you want him to be. But, like, he's not there to look cool. He's like a middle-aged guy with a beer belly, very average-looking guy. And so it has that same mechanic of clothing items, hat, you know, you can have a robe or a jacket, pants, shoes, and they all have, you know, these perks, like plus intelligence, plus encyclopedia, etc., if you have these different clothing items. But because the character's kind of wacky. You put these outfits together and you look horrible. Like there's no way to put it's almost like a joke, of when you pick the right outfit to have the point distribution that you want, you're not going to look good. But there's something about in the context of that game that your inability to wear an outfit that looks cool adds something to it. Or it's also one of those things that are like, I feel like you don't have a choice, but other people playing the game do. When we were talking about like how games show you your own programming. Maybe there's other people who just like don't even entertain it as an option to use the points, to care more about the points than how you look. They're like, no, I need the pants and the shirt to match. I don't care about the points. I need to look good. And then your game will reflect that decision. And maybe it's like the most autistic thing in the world being like, no, obviously the points distribution is more important. Who cares how I look, right? It's function. Function over form. I struggle to find an alternative game that gives me the engagement that 76 does. Yeah, exactly. I can run quests for a while, then I can explore for a while, then I can build for a while. Exactly. I think that in another stream, people have asked me, like, what I loved about 76. And I said something to that effect of, there's always something else to do. Like, when people complain about updates to 76 or things being underwhelming, I'm like, how did you run out of stuff to do? Like, I feel like I give that much game as much as I can give to that game, because, obviously I'm, playing other games, which is weird for me. Normally I'm, like, really monogamous and only play one game at a time. But I feel like all these different games kind of serve different functions. Like, right now, I am playing... The one that's getting abandoned is Baldur's Gate 3. But I'm like, God, it's so ADHD. I want to go back to Starfield. I've never finished Starfield. And I'm sort of craving it now. I'm definitely going through, like, I go through these cravings. Like, I think that, like, when I'm done with my horror kick with, like, Silent Hill 2 and the Silent Hill videos, maybe I'm gonna step into Starfield and step into some spaceship shit. Starfleet Academy has kind of made me, and I like Starfleet Academy. I guess it's getting, like, bad audience reviews scores, but whatever. I think it's great. I really like the show. But I also liked Discovery, so what the fuck do I know? I feel you about liking complexity. I'm the only one of my friends that prefers the more complicated tabletop RPGs. I cannot... Maybe tabletop RPGs is something I put on that list of, like, those kind of insecurity things, like how I don't play musical instruments and how I struggle with direction and all of that. I have never successfully played a tabletop RPG because my brain can't get it. It's hard to explain because we're talking about something my brain can't do. I understand the concept. I love the idea and the concept. Maybe if I was just a DM and not playing it, I could do it. But I'm not comfortable being a DM or a game master if I've never actually played and I don't know what it's like to be at the table. But being in one of the people playing in an RPG confuses my brain so much. I think it has a lot to do with, okay, when you're playing a video game RPG, sometimes the way that I figure out what I can and can't do in a video game RPG is to, like, just hit buttons and see what happens. Basically, I try a bunch of shit and I run into walls, and that's how I find out that the walls are there. But when you're, like, playing a tabletop RPG and there's other people, they're real people. If I treated them the way I treat video games when I'm trying to learn them, it would be rude. They're people that are feeling and experiencing things. And I guess the part of my brain that wants to figure out the game is, like, in conflict with the part of my brain that, like, is socially aware. And I do kind of struggle with this with online video games as well. 90% of the time that I play 76, I play by myself. Even though I want to play with other people, and I always say I want to play with other people, I do need help to get through Atlantic City, which I mentioned in the video today. But then I chicken out, and I don't actually make the plans to do it and get people together in the game, because I can't... My autistic monotropic attention tunnel is like, socializing respectfully and playing this game are they're too far apart in my rigid autistic meaning-making map. I can't do both at the same time. It's also why I talk on stream instead of playing games on stream. Though, Silent Hill 2, we seem to be, doing pretty well. But the more I am talking to chat, the less I can play the game. In fact, I think there have been a few times during Silent Hill where I get off and start talking about something, and I like pause. I don't even pause. I just have him stand there awkwardly. But it does kind of help me co-regulate when the game is stressful when I'm like talking about what I'm seeing as I'm playing it. So I've never. I'm still open to the possibility that I could play and learn and understand it with the right game master. Somebody who was really kind of hand-holding me through it. Because I feel like I don't know what my options are. You know, a video game is like you can hit these buttons and they do these 4 things, you know? But in real life, with my real brain and just my mouth and I can just talk, I don't know, like, can I say, I'm flying to the moon right now? Like, I don't, like, the constraints are never communicated to me in a way that makes me understand where I can be creative. That's actually one of the reasons why yes, yes. Um, I have been, compared to Tignatara before, and it is always a pleasure to hear. I love Jet. Um, but it bugs me because it feels like so many of my friends play tabletop RPGs, and I want to be able to do it. I really do. I'm not going to make any promises, but when I'm caught from changing jobs, I may be getting a virtual tabletop for my PC, and I think it would be fun to run the Fallout game for some. Keep me in the loop. I want to, and I just want to do like more nerdy things like with other people. I mean, that's why we're doing this right now. There are rules you can read up on. That's, yeah, I don't learn from reading things. I can't learn from I learn by doing. If I read it and that's like the only way I got the information, I'll immediately forget it. I think it has to do with sort of that sort of tactile learning. Like I never read or learned how to edit. I just started dicking around in Premiere and videos came out. If it happens, it would be a couple months out. Cool. Okay, I'm going to take one more break and then we will wrap up when I come back. And yeah, I wanted to... Any more just like, let's wrap up on just some like fun video ideas. You know, like so far we've gotten some good shit. So the yes man thumb idea, and the accents and like how are all these people getting here? I might just see if I go down like a rabbit hole on the independent Fallout wiki. And see where that road goes and see if a video comes out of it. But then there's also the Far Harbor playthrough, which I also want to collect those saves, because we do want to do the synth thing eventually, because we talked about that a long time ago, the Nick Valentine video. And my buddy Kiwi, bless his heart, sent me a bunch of Fallout 4 saves, and I still haven't gotten a chance to look at how deep he got in the game. This is great. I just sit back and I just like have people just send me saves. You know, it's funny. I've talked about this before with Fallout fandom. I think I've talked about this in the stream that I want to you know, it would be really helpful if it was normal and commonplace for people to exchange saves, you know, for things like my videos and things like that. But when I going into this Silent Hill thing, I found people posting Silent Hill 2 saves so fast. I was like, I've never seen people post Fallout saves once. I look for this for Silent Hill for 5 seconds in a game that where it's not even, or it's actually a lot harder to log and keep saves than it is for Fallout. For Fallout, it is very easy. Funky Deathclaw reminding you to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I hope that he hit all of my organization requirements for these saves. He did! He has it all organized. Oh, he's like, I guess he has 1 day. What? I guess that's fine. I just counted up the hours when I do like my Cyberpunk saves. 3,600, whatever, hours. I think my longest Cyberpunk playthrough was over 100 hours. I am a completionist to say the least in that game. Cyberpunk 2077. I can only think of like 3 things that I haven't seen that can be experienced in that game. Possibly only 3 things that I haven't recorded. I don't have enough male V recordings, that's for sure. Because I find the male V voice actor annoying. No disrespect to the actor himself, I'm sure he's great. But, the way that they directed him annoys me. Dang. Oh my god, and he put notes in everything? Oh. Everybody needs autistic friends. Oh my god, finally. Finally, somebody on my level. Ooh. Oh my god, and he named all the... These saves are beautiful, you guys. He has the time of how deep into the save, or how deep into the playthrough. And then he has, we gotta not do the 1 day thing, because it's not alphabetizing in order, but we'll talk, but besides that, it's perfect! He has, then the, name of the quest, and then a dash, and then a note of what was going on during the save. These are fucking beautiful. I've never seen anybody put this amount of effort that I would put in. I almost feel guilty that I'm gonna have to poke him about the 1 day thing, but... I'm not gonna start with that. I'm gonna be like, first I'm gonna tell you everything amazing about these saves. Favorite Cyberpunk ending? Oh, ha, ha, ha. Well, maybe we shouldn't do that because of the, spoilers. For people who are here that have not played it. I'll tell you this. It's not a popular one. My favorite is not a popular one. That might be a good video topic, though. And, you know, in that context, it would be like, warning, I'm gonna give away an ending of this game, so... Oh, that actually reminds me of something I wanted to talk about earlier. Okay, I'm gonna take a break after I finish this thought. I was talking about how I'm not, like, at a red alert point with the amount of footage on my drive. But I need to start paying attention, though. I do need to think ahead and, not just record things, stay organized. And I have a lot of Cyberpunk footage that it took a long time to acquire it all. And so I'm gonna need to sprinkle in, I'm gonna need to steer my autistic brain that direction a few times, at least, because I recorded all that shit, and I'm not gonna delete it, and I need to use it, and I just gotta stay true to my boundaries on that. Like, it's gotta be something that I can just record and edit, and not something that requires a lot of research. There are major research topics that are of interest to me that I'm not giving up on forever, but we're in this phase where we're, like, building a new habit and a new, engine, and I can't challenge myself to that level yet. It's like, these are training wheels. Okay, I'm gonna be back in a couple minutes, but while I'm gone, any other ideas of interesting, intriguing, lighthearted things that you could imagine me just sitting down and just talking without doing any research kind of video ideas where you would just be interested in hearing what crazy shit comes out of my mouth about that topic. Okay, I'll be right back. Hopefully I won't have a mystery cough that I don't remember doing. And I'm back. So basically, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to end my night. Is because what I've kind of learned from doing this stream is that it's not good for me to stream and then immediately try to go to bed afterwards. I'm too wired and excited. Like I need like a wind down activity, which could be playing Disco Elysium. But what I really want to do is settle on some sort of like topic idea and then play something and record something, record some footage. It's I know it's weird. It's like a work thing to do at night, and something I've definitely learned in dealing with my neurodivergence is I have to like not listen to anybody else's opinion about what is or isn't work for me, because things that are relaxing for me are work for other people, and things like that are relaxing for other people are work for me. So like doing something in a game and recording sounds very chill. Not like recording me talking, but just recording game footage of something. So I'm looking at chat, and I said we can talk about your camp items. Is that like cheap to do like a camp tour? Is that like a thing everybody does? Would y'all want to watch that? A camp tour? Because you saw a lot of my camp in my BRB screen, and I cut to it, and now this is kind of fun for if I do the next location thing, which I might just do that because I just did the location thing and I have that list ready to go. That might be what I do next week. We'll see. You'll find out on Friday. When I was recording some footage for that, this incident that I literally described in the video of the dog leaving the gate open and Beckett having to shoot radhogs. That happened. And so I, of course, hit record when it was happening, and then the next time I can be like, God damn it! The dog left the gate open again! So I guess I have to put a lock on the gate. If there's anybody here that actually knows this, I need to install a lock on the gate, and that would prevent that from happening. But my question is if I lock the gate, can the collectron, is that the word? Why does it feel like it's not a word? Will the dog still be able to collect shit if the gate's locked? That is what I was uncertain about. Anytime I log on to 76, now I feel guilty scanning for, for my name? I'm like never on the public thing. I'm always in private server when I log in. But I guess I can stop doing that. I don't know, I guess I get like stage fright or something. And also, I don't know, I don't like people coming in and looking in my camp. But I also don't have a vendor thing anymore because I got rid of all the stuff. So there's no reason to play in the thing because I'm always afraid I'm gonna piss somebody off or something. I don't know. I have weird anxiety about going into the pub. So people ask me, they're like, can you play it by yourself? And I'm like, I always do. It's like, I play on a public server if I have plans with people. You know, if I'm meeting people in the game, which I haven't done in a long time. If you're going to Cyberpunk, do a little research on the tabletop game lore. Do a little research! I'm laughing because I, on my Dinztopia channel, actually one of the biggest videos that I've ever done, I think, let's see how many views it has right now. Johnny Silverhand Dinztopia. Yes, the unreliable narrative of Johnny Silverhand has 160,000 views. 160,000 views. Of all the videos that I've done that like weren't like for clients or why is it not in focus? It's probably the biggest video, at least doing this nerdy gaming thing. And the whole thing is just an exploration of the comparing and contrasting the events of the quest Never Fade Away and Love Like Fire from the game, from the tabletop lore. Extensive amounts of tabletop research. That's the most researchy video that I've ever done, because I saw so many videos talking about the things that are different, and I wanted to make something all-encompassing. I wanted to make the one video, if you want to see the difference between Johnny Silverhand and the tabletop versus the game, that video will answer every single question you could possibly have. It's got scans from the tabletop, pictures. I bought tabletop books to do this video. It took months to do. It is one of the best videos I've ever made. I still think that the Benny and House video is the best video I've ever made. But it's funny. The Benny and House video has like 6,000 views. The Johnny Silverhand video has 160,000 views. And over in the comments over there, people are like, I hope you didn't quit YouTube. I'm like, I didn't. I'm just focusing on a different channel. Because I don't have time to do that kind of work right now. It's not that anyone here would be into it and embarrassed to even mention it, but technically I found a game that satisfies some of that. Wait, what game are you talking about? Oh, the cats and Fallout thing, because House said there's no cats. Do a little research, said to a neurospicy, and knowing the levels that can be behind the scenes. Ah! Aruna about cats and Fallout. As soon as I saw the Immortal Cats mod, I downloaded it so fast I nearly broke my controller's button. I like the tabletop lore for the Fallout 4 prequel. I have Wasteland Warfare. But then somebody told me that like what I have is out of date and like not playable anymore, and I'm like, I'm already confused. What does that even mean? How can anything not be playable anymore? I have this box, I have this game. Because I was trying to find things to do. I have a couple of Cyberpunk board games as well. Um, I wanted to, do things with people in person, you know? And so I wanted to get tabletop games to be able to do that, and then I just never really got around to it. Me and a buddy of mine played one of the Cyberpunk board games. Not the tabletop game, but, one of the Cyberpunk 2077 Gangs of Night City board game. And it was pretty fun. But lately we've just been watching movies and stuff because games, brain energy. LOL in the last comment also meant in the best way, if that makes sense. Not laughing at you, but with you type of thing. Yeah. Takes notes on immortal cats for future reference. I'm playing Wasteland Warfare while listening to the stream. Oh, really? Crazy. That's a person that doesn't chat that often. Hello, Mark. Or do you? Your name and icon look new to me, but that might not mean anything. So what do I want to record tonight? I could just do 76 stuff. You know what was kind of nice last night when I was getting that camp and rad hog footage, which is so funny because I talked about that exact scenario. Is I was doing just dailies and just looking and seeing like what dailies I could knock out, and whatever location came to mind. It's like, oh, that place had. Speaking of which, where's a good place? Does anybody know, like off the top of your head, for future reference, to collect pre-war food? A reliable place to get pre-war food. Because I feel like that comes up in dailies on enough of a rotation. Like, I know where to go to kill a Wendigo. I know where to go to kill Scorched. I know where to go to get... I mean, there's Blood Eagles everywhere. You can just look for the Blood Eagle symbol on the map and just pick a place. I like Dagger's Den. Spoiler or a word like that. Dagger's Den was one of the places that got cut in my list of 8. But maybe I shouldn't tell y'all anymore. Because I already gave away that Fisherman's Rest was one of them. And then there was another place that I hit to do a daily last night that I was like, oh, this is another really good one, and so I recorded footage there. But anyway, the point is, like, dailies kind of give me a nice excuse to go and collect footage of certain things. There's so much stuff that I could talk about in 76. Brotherhood versus Super Mutants. I want them to add ice cream for an item consumable on Fallout 76. It's pretty easy to make. They already have sugar, milk, cream, and ice. That'd be cool. That seems like totally the kind of thing that they could have as like an Atom Shop station. Oh, speaking of like Atom, I've never really talked about Atom Shop complaints. Here's what really bothers me. Is I have Fallout First, so every month I'm going to have 1,800 atoms. And I hate when, like, there's, like, this limited edition bundle that's 2,000. That is such a fucking bullshit. Because it's basically, like, people who are already spending money on Fallout First have to spend even more money to, get this 2,000. That's why I don't have Prospector Saloon. But I, like, on principle, I'm like, I'm not gonna spend more money. Yeah, and after I had that thing I even said in the TV show video, I was like, that armor should be in 76, and then, what do you know, it was. They immediately put it on the shop, but it was like $30. I'm like, are you guys broke? Like, maybe y'all need to manage your business finances better instead of doing this shit. Like, I don't mind paying for Fallout First. I know a lot of people are like, that's crosses a line. I don't have a problem with that. Because of like the regular ongoing updates and maintenance, and it's an online ongoing game. Servers are hosting shit. They need to bring money in. It's fine. I do have a problem with, like, there's a piece of software that I use that I hate this because there's no other software that I found that's free or that does what I need it to do as well as this. But it's just like font management software, and it's $3 a month. That's bullshit. Like, it's not like an online game that has ongoing maintenance and updates and, like, it's font management software. Just let me buy it and then charge me again when you make a new version. You know, like, it's, um, so it really depends on the context of when I'm okay with the subscription. But, like, things like, I am already paying for a thing to get my atoms to do atom shop things every month. And then to have a limited edition thing that's just a little bit more than the amount of atoms I'm going to get is bullshit. Blood Eagle mentioned, have you seen Vikings and also The Tick? Like those shows? Yes, I have seen both of those shows. I don't think I finished Vikings though. The hard time I had was coal, but I found the locations in the mines of ash heap and the cracks in the road. Regarding the Fallout First and Atom Store, the game was rigged from the start! Good one. I was scouting out new ash heap fishing camp locations today, and the one near Hornwright Air Purifier site has a lot. Yeah! That's good to know. Luckily, I have like 9 cans of dog food. Usually when dog food comes up in dailies, I guess sometimes it's collect, but it is oftentimes, and when I'm doing dailies, I hate looking things up online. Like, I hate, like, I don't want to get online and be like, where am I going to find this item? Your favorite resort had pre-war food. Camden Park! I went to the fairgrounds and I didn't see anything. That's actually one of the places I recorded. My recording of the fairgrounds was pretty cool, though, because when I got there, it was really foggy, and then the fog parted, and it was sunny. So I got the park in 2 different weather conditions in the same recording, which was very satisfying. Yeah, it's very Adobe-esque, isn't it? But Adobe charges me fucking $70 a month, though. A lot more than $3. But literally my entire professional life revolves around it, so there will be no more products, only monthly services. Yep, they gotta siphon our resources out, then give us some universal basic income, you fucking blood-sucking bastards. Vikings is fine if you're a fan of the myths genre, but not particularly about the anthropology. Yeah, I definitely make an effort in my brain when I'm watching those shows to be like, yeah, this is not historical. This is not historical. Don't be fooled. Don't have this in your head when you think that this is what this was really like. It's TV. Vikings got kind of boring in the last few seasons. I too need to finish it. I guess I'm behind on a lot of shows right now. I find it in the concession stands at the fairgrounds. I feel like I looked and I didn't see anything, but that could also be my brain. I loved HBO Rome. That was a fucking show. I still think about that show a lot. Like, all the hullabaloo about Game of Thrones just really made me think about, like, yeah, this is, like, what Rome was like. I also think, I think also, like, the fanfiction writer in me really liked how they took, like, these 2 names that came up on a lot of, like, these historical documents and basically wrote this fan fiction about them. I categorize Vikings as magical realism, not historical. Feeling better for paying $300 on sale a year after college. And if I'm paying, maybe I force myself to use it sort of vibe. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. That's actually something that was brought to my attention a lot, you know, getting a business degree and my struggles with entrepreneurship and stuff. People, you know, not wanting to charge too much because I'm just so aware of how broke everybody is. But the reality is if you charge for something, then people do take it more seriously, you know? It's like a mistake that I've tended to make in my career in business is to let other people define my value. And then I end up feeling like taken advantage of and exploited all the time, but it's because I didn't set boundaries for my value. And people are gonna always want to pay as little as possible. So if you let them pay as little as possible, they will continue to do so. Nobody like stops and goes, you know what? I was paying you this much, but you're doing such a good job. I'm gonna pay you more. But that's kind of train us to expect in school, right? Is work hard and then you'll get a promotion. Somebody outside of you is gonna elevate you. And that's one of the reasons I was in LA for 6 years and I didn't go anywhere, is because I never asserted my value. I kept waiting to get promoted. And there's one job in particular that I worked at for a long time where, finally, like, one day after, like, working there for, like, a couple years, I kind of snapped, and I was like, I thought, like, every year you were supposed to get a raise. And he was like, what, you never asked for one? You're right. It's been way too long. You should totally have a raise. I'm sorry. Here, have a raise. But I never brought it up. I was waiting for somebody else to bring it up. And that was sort of the mistake that I made in, like, all aspects of my life, is not asserting my need for more or setting boundaries, just being mad at people and resentful for not promoting me because I didn't think I had a say. And that part of me still kind of doesn't feel like I have a say in what other people give me. And that's kind of touches on something I've talked about in my videos about, the difference between controlling or manipulating somebody versus influencing, or like influencing your culture as opposed to having dominion over it, and I didn't naturally learn the line between those two things in the way that I was raised. So I just let sort of other people overtake me, and then I would get mad, and then people would be like, God, why are you so mad? Because I didn't know, I didn't assert my and it's still hard. It's still hard to, like, talk to clients and be like, I'm willing to do this, I'm not willing to do that, because I'm dependent on them. I need their money to survive, so I don't feel like I have a say in things, and it's a challenge. Never allow anyone to set your value. Know your value and make others earn your respect by seeing that value in you. Well said. Well said. Okay, what should I guess I'll just do dailies with my recording thing open and see what inspires me. I feel like I had another thought earlier. Okay, the accent thing, I'm gonna, like, kind of look into it, and I have the list saved. The problem with that is, in order for me to do that, I would have to, like, have saves where I had access to all these characters, and then go and talk to them, and I'd have to have, like, a cross-section list. It might be crossing that line where it's, like, too much research. But what else did we talk about? Camp tour, is something that would be easy. I just don't find shooting my own camp as interesting as the locations made by these professionals. I like my camp, but I'll think about it. Maybe I'll just do the next round of locations, but what I'll do is get better shots. But man, my dopamine is screaming to just look at a different location. You guys don't know what's on my list. I could totally change it. You don't know. I didn't promise anything. I guess Watoga and Fisherman's Rest I sort of called attention to. Okay, I should call it so that it's not too late. What time is it right now? Okay, yeah, it is 9 o'clock, so it's still enough time that I could do a little something in 76, and then, so I will see you guys at the, latest by Friday, or when the next video is, or you'll see me. But I will probably, at some point, when Time Pocket allows, I will hop on randomly, when you least expect it, to start Brookhaven Hospital in Silent Hill 2, because I want to get all of that footage recorded and talk about Silent Hill eventually. So, did you mention something about live streaming Disco Elysium? I didn't mention it, but I'm just playing it. I'm not streaming it because, but would you want me to? Um, that's an idea worth playing. Like, maybe after I get through this current playthrough, and if I want to do it again. It's a lot of footage, though. But maybe I'll have a smoother go of it. I don't know. If I do that, it'll be in a while. Like, I'll have to wait until, like, this playthrough is out of my head. Unless you guys don't mind watching me do a playthrough that you didn't see me start. Okay, maybe some American raiders became like Vikings and raid other countries. Totally go see that location that makes you happy. When you're ready to tell us all your headcanon stories for things in your camp, will you ready? Oh, you guys are the cutest. Okay, I am going to call it. Thank you all for coming on this journey with me, even though my video did not have the greatest numbers. But we're playing around. We're goofing around. And we're going to see what happens. Alright, you guys are the greatest. And have a good night.